They wrote me off, I ain't write them back. Nah. Follow me, but don't double tap. I ain't liking that. You subscribe, I monetize. Now who's striking that? Wanna see the contract? Who got the rights to that? This my story. I spent my whole life on life. Time's up. Shedeur Sanders with the rollie in the armor. I could do this shit with my eyes closed. The main attraction don't come at me with no side show. I'm selling high, they wanna buy low.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, my people. How y'all feeling, man? You know, we glad y'all here today. Glad y'all here every day, man. But it's Tuesday morning. We on the cook up again. We back in the kitchen. We got us another guest joining us today, man. So, of course, I got my boy T-Rock in the building. Of course, it wouldn't be a kitchen without having the chef in there. So, my boy Rock had to come through. I said, come on, bro. You can't leave the people hungry, man. And we serving up with our guest today. We got my boy Bruce in the building. Bruce, how we feeling today, bro?
Feeling good. Thank you guys for having me on. I'm excited to chop up some ball with you guys, cook some rookies, and all the good stuff. This is going to be a fun time. You guys better put the seatbelts on. We're going to rock and roll it today.
That's it. My boy Bruce sound like he ready to cook, man. Rock, how you feeling, brother?
Oh, I'm feeling great. This week has been absolutely insane. We just came out with the draft guide. It's been awesome. Working on that with everybody.
Well, look, don't forget about them extra hours you put in this week on that draft guide too, though, bro. So my boy Rock was definitely hitting me up like, man, I ain't slept in like 24 hours, man. I'm tired, man. So I'm glad you got a little bit of sleep last night.
Yeah, this has been one of the things I've wanted to work on for the longest time, to be able to contribute to a draft guide. It's a dream come true. And man, when you open it up and you see all the work that we put into it, between the write-ups, the graphic design, everything, it's absolutely amazing. So I'm super proud of it. I can't wait to show it off to the world.
Yeah, we definitely gonna share that one, bro. Bruce, I saw you at Paul. You had froze on me. Now you back, bro. So I'm just letting you know you glitched a little bit. Just let you know a little bit.
Yeah. Matrix.
So that way you don't be like, hold up, man.
Yeah, I'm glitching a little bit.
It's all good. I just want to let you know.
It's all good though.
Yep, that's it. We in the building, bro. So I'm gonna let the people flow on through, man. You know my boy Jake in the building. Jake, we gonna get at you real soon, bro.
What's up, Jake?
I guess before we get started, man, Bruce, now that you're here, man, we finally got you here. We talked about this for a little while, and the time is now. So just kind of introduce yourself, man. Let the people know how to find you, where you from, a little bit of your background, and now that you in the kitchen, man, what we got going on today, bro?
All right. Today has been a good day. I'm firing up the Rain energy drinks. I figured I'd switch it up. I found a new flavor. It's called White Haze. It's pretty solid. It's kind of like a White Monster-esque. Where you can find me at mainly is my YouTube channel. I'm just probably about 3 to 5 videos a day, and I'm just posting a lot of rookie content, a lot of high school recruiting content as well. And then there's off-ball things too. So college football 25, I think I got something rolling out here in a little bit. That might be hit or miss for me, but it's a big project. That'll be coming out. I'll do a little MMA on there because I'm heavily invested in that. And then I just really just go with the flow and do what I want. That's what I like about that. I don't have any like restrictions. So everything's free flowing over there and honest. TikTok, you can find me there too. I don't know my handle. I don't know. I don't really pay attention like that, but I think it's at Metric Scout maybe. I think so. And then Twitter, I kind of shit post over there. I'm not really invested in like Twitter and what is it called? Like Sky or something. I'm not really invested over there, but if you want to go over there, you can. But YouTube, TikTok's my main spots there. Heavy NFL draft, mock drafts, rookie draft for dynasty content, high school recruiting as well. A lot of high school recruiting, like a bunch of videos every day, different types, debates, rankings, and everything.
Okay. And it's funny, we a lot of C2C guys, man. So that high school, we're gonna have to tap in with you on that one, man. I'm waiting for my boy. I'm waiting for my boy, Mr. Voorhees. If you in the building, brother, please remind me of my player. My boy we got this high school guy we've been watching for like 2 years. Put him in the chat for me, Voorhees,
yeah.
if you in here, bro. But yeah, man, it's another good day, man. It's NFL Combine week, so all those rookies that we've been dreaming about, waiting to see, get the measurements, the underwear Olympics, as they call it. We're gonna see what they do. Ashton Jeanty said he's chilling, which he should, right? He pretty much is the clear 101 in his position. Ain't no need for me to show y'all what y'all already saw. Shedeur's going to interview and just lay back, and I think Ward said the same, man. I wondered if Shedeur would have went and did some of the drills. Would Ward have done it too, or did Ward say, nah, Shedeur ain't doing it, I ain't gonna do it either? I kind of thought about that in the process of, if I'm Ward, if Shedeur not doing it, I'm not gonna drop my stock and have one bad day and now they looking at me crazy. So if he not doing it, I ain't doing it. I feel like we on the same level anyway. So but between those two rookies, Bruce, who's your guy, man? Out of the two top QBs, who is your guy and why?
I feel like I'm a little bit biased towards Cam Ward because I liked him a lot in the transfer portal last year. He was a guy that when he hit the transfer portal last year, everybody wanted him to go to their school. The thing about this, however, the reason why he stayed was he did not get a good report for his draft stock, stayed another year, transferred out, but he went to Miami. That let me know that he can transition to a new program. From him and Shedeur, I like Shedeur's talent, like his ability to throw the deep ball with accuracy, especially with his anticipation. I'm not too far off with him. I don't really in love with this class. I also think with Cam Ward, it's micro a little bit too much due to the Colorado bias or unbiased or whatever. But when I look at Cam, I feel like people are too scared to plant one way or another with him as well. But I like Cam Ward the way his mental processing works, gets the ball out quickly. I think he does need some time to season, but I think I have him as QB1, but not too close because I do like Shedeur.
Okay. All right. I mean, that's the biggest question. A lot of people don't like Shedeur for whatever reason, and they don't like Cam for whatever reason. But definitely Shedeur is my guy coming in. And I think that it's so close. I'm going off of, like I tell people, my biggest argument is leadership. And I know his background. I know his bloodline. I know where he comes from. And just seeing everywhere he's gone, the players, the teammates, his brother. I've been hearing stories about, he's like a father to his brother. So I don't see how this guy can't go in a locker room and, with a bunch of 22, 25, 28-year-olds and kind of command that locker room and make them believe that he is their guy. That's kind of 50% of the game, right? It's mental and it's physical, but mentally, you ain't even got to be that good. But if you make me believe you that good, then I'm a ride for you, So that's my biggest thing with Shedeur. And there's no knock on Cam. I just kind of think his leadership is going to step in there. And I see my boy Voorhees in the building. Bro, who was our guy, man? It's not it's not Dakota. Who was our guy, bro, from high school, man, that we checking out? Put him in the chat for me, bro. Bruce said he on them high school players right now. And that's our dog, man. But Rob, how you feeling this morning, brother? We got a couple of good topics, but between Shedeur and Cam, you let us know how you feeling. I already know, but just in case somebody missed it, man. How you feeling?
Yeah. So I definitely do have Cam Ward ahead of Shedeur Sanders, and that basically comes down to raw talent. I think this is the reason why we're going to see Cam Ward easily going to go in the top 2 or 3. And there's a chance, and it's been picking up steam, that Shedeur Sanders might fall not just outside of the top 5, but the top 10. And getting into, this draft guide and also to just watching a lot more Shedeur Sanders, listening to what other people have to say about him, the biggest worry that I have about him is just his athleticism overall. He has to go to a team that, we're going to talk about best landing spots and stuff like that. So I don't want to get too far ahead.
Yeah. Don't get too far, brother. Don't get too far.
But when it just comes to just their analytics and stuff like that, Cam Ward, he scored more fantasy points last year than Shedeur Sanders. He had a better QBR, 88 versus 78. Shedeur does have him on the breakout age. When it comes to adjusted yards per attempt, 10.52 for Ward. Sanders is at 9.27. Now, the best thing that Shedeur has for him is his accuracy. So his completion percentage and his breakout edge are definitely ahead of Cam Ward. We didn't really see Cam Ward really break out until his last year in college football. But yeah, Cam Ward has a better arm, and he can throw from off a platform, and he's definitely got a lot more mobility. I think his mobility and his raw talent when it comes to his arm and just being able to pass down the field. That's the reason why I have Cam Ward ahead of him. Why I worry a little bit about Sanders. Yeah, that's where I'm at with them right now. But I'm a Jackson Dart guy. So
yeah, we're gonna talk about that in a little bit, brother. But I will say, Rock, man, I know you gotta get you up a little bit, bro. You gotta give me a little bit of energy, man. Your mic is just a little tad low, bro. So just give me a little bit of that seasoning on that prime rib that you like to cook up for.
How about now? Is that a lot better?
We gonna get there. We gonna get there. We gonna get there, Rock. We gonna get you, get you right, get you tight, brother. But I guess we can get a little bit of love into the man. I was waiting for my people. I think Bruce, they must be asleep, man. We gotta get these people up. But I will say, my boy Jake always coming.
Here we go.
Jake down there in Carolina with the Panthers, man. We definitely still gonna make that trip down there, Jake. So shout out my boy. Voorhees in the building. He said, "Welcome to Bruce in the kitchen." And my boy Big E in the building. Appreciate you chiming in, bro. And he put it down there. DeCorian Moore down there from Duncanville. So go. I don't know if you know about him, Bruce, but you say you went out.
DeCorian Moore.
DeCorian Moore.
Oh, going to Oregon. Oh yeah, he blew up at the Polynesian Bowl.
Yeah,
he was looking nice. Good. I like him. I might play fizzing out right now. Mm-hmm. I like him a lot. He's got a lot of upside. He's very twitched up. He's got good ball skills. And when I see a young player like that, that's very twitched up, that's also got, I'm sorry, I'm messing with my headphones, but that's very twitched up. That's very nuanced this early in the stage of route running. And I probably need to go over that part too with route running and these young wide receivers so you guys can, I'll help you with draft classes. But man, this is a nasty player that's twitched up that can really create separation. It's probably going to be early in his collegiate career. I like him a lot. And also was Keelan Russell. I like Keelan Russell. He's everybody has this comp, but they got him compared to Jaden Daniels due to the size, but the accuracy downfield, just pushing the ball downfield and being able to spray it, it's very solid. I look for him to develop pretty nicely there at Alabama and really transition well to the college game. And I like Dak Moore a lot. There's a lot of wide receivers that's good in this class, last year's class as well. And the thing is, and this might play into this year's wide receiver class where we're all down on it, is that there's not many wide receivers that can't create separation off the break anymore. Like they're all like very savvy at route running. There are edge rushers because I look at all the offensive tackles, defensive tackles too. There are edge rushers that will line up at wide receiver and they can sell the break. They can release well, create separation. You'll catch a couple edge rushers in every class that will blow your mind with the route running. It's just totally different than what it was like 5 to 10 years ago. And that's going to leak in like the later rounds where we're going to get random wide receivers. That's just going to gel well with their team and hit on us. Like it's just going to happen. There's just too many good route runners in every recruiting class anymore. Like you're going to look at production profiles and stuff, and they're just going to like be right under our nose. We're going to look over them, and there's going to be one or two here and there that's going to hit.
All the time. We always looking over them, man. But I'm sitting here laughing, man. We got this clown, man. My boy Shiz was talking about the Maryland Terps. Man, get off my screen, man. Shout out my boy coming through, bro. We appreciate you, man. So yeah, man, let's get started, man. I want to start off with you though, Bruce. Since you here, we got you here. We asked Bruce, give us your past, current, and future favorite players. Bruce cooked it up for us, told us. I was kind of surprised at the list. I heard Emmitt Smith and Puka Nacua and Travion Henderson. So number one out of these three, I can't say that because Emmitt is played longer. I just say this in the order of I can't say that either because I'm always giving the image. So I'm gonna leave what I want to say alone. I just say kind of explain what was your reasoning for having these guys as your favorites in the past, current, and future, and then yeah, let us know why you took those guys, and especially Travion being not drafted yet. I really want to hear what you thought about him.
Yeah, so Emmitt Smith, I'm a Cowboys fan. That's what I grew up liking. Nowadays, I'm so like used to looking at teams that fandom's out the window. But I got a Roger Staubach jersey back there.
Hold on, Bruce. I don't mean to cut you off, but I think we on the same accord, bro. My son name is Dallas. I'm a Dallas fan, but nowadays I'm with I'm a players guy at this point. I think in my life, right? The Cowboys are disappointing me so much, man. I started to like players now. So I don't mean to cut you off, but once you said that, it hit my heart, brother. So we good. We on the same page, man.
Yeah, like on Sundays, I'm always looking for storylines to make content on. I'm geared on like making content and like where to react to next. Where like there's the fandom's out the window.
Yeah,
but that's what I grew up on was Emmitt Smith, Troy Aikman, Jay Novacek, that Michael Irvin. I grew up a little kid dreaming about hanging out with these kids even. So like that, when I think about back in the day, that's what I can go off of. I mean, there's other legendary players. Like half of that is Troy Aikman. I got some Emmitt Smith up there. I see him right up there. Like just old school guys up there. I got Thurman Thomas, Deion Sanders. Just trying
Bruce, I live here in the Washington D.C. area, bro. These people don't want to hit too much, man, because they gonna start hating on you, man. They ain't gonna want you to come back, man. You know what I'm saying?
Hence the Terps reference earlier. See that? I did like them in NCAA basketball, and I used to like play that on PS2. I used to use them a lot back in like 2003-04 era.
Okay.
But yeah, he's got a lot of grit too. Played through not separated shoulder that one time. Good up the gut. Wasn't the biggest running back, but always like took a lot of carries.
He was a dog.
A lot of carries.
He was a dog, man. But what about Puka, man? How you feeling about Puka? I will say, me and my boy Rock are avid Puka advocates. I will say last year, I'm not gonna lie, Bruce, I took him over Justin Jefferson, bro. That's how hard I was going with Puka.
Yeah,
I had him as receiver 2 on the year, and he ended up getting hurt. But I'm a Puka stan. My boy Rock here, he loved him some Puka. So what about Puka that got him over top of everybody else for you right now?
Well, when I got asked that question, I was like, man, it's hard because like when you're doing content every day, like the feelings and emotions kind of just leave you, and it is what it is,
Yeah.
and you just talk about it. The thing about Puka, there's Puka, Kyron Williams, Keaton Mitchell. Those 3 guys kind of built my channel. So I kind of got to pay it forward. Like, especially Puka, when I go into looking up keywords to add in, like people search my name with him. So it's kind of like associated, like it pops up. It's like the only thing that pops up with my name. And Puka Nacua, I liked him coming out of the Senior Bowl. I like that. I liked where he was going at in the draft because, like, you can get your dogs and then you can get a Puka alongside with that in the rookie drafts. He was a great value.
Yes, sir.
And then we got into training camp because I like to cover training camp clips and cover the training camp very hardcore. And one thing I noticed is he was getting a lot of buzz, but still going under the radar a little bit because the Rams do not release a lot of training camp footage. They just don't. They'll release a little bit, but they'll just give you a little window. Yeah. And that's when I knew, like, when you start hearing McVay talk about a player a little bit, that's when you know, like, they're on the rise.
That's the man.
McVay has his guys, and we all know that with Kyron Williams. And once that came in, that went in all steam going into that rookie season.
Well, I will say, man, again, me and Rock, man, we love us some Sean McVay, man. So it sounds like we right here in the same seats, man. As far as McVay and Puka, man, and I guess to end it all, and I meant to rebuttal what you say. You say your name is tied with Puka, and it's funny. I'm sorry to say, Bruce, my name is tied to Kyle Pitts, man, and it hasn't worked out, brother. Everybody know I love me some Kyle Pitts, but I'm gonna ride or die with my guy, man, because one of these years we gonna have that breakout season. You know what I'm saying? It's coming, man. So, Rock, go ahead, Bruce. You got something to say? Go ahead. My fault.
So it got to the point, like last year, I was talking about the guys I was hitting, and I didn't really bring up Puka, and people got upset because like I was the reason why they drafted him, but I like in my head it was more like the running backs and all this, and I was just saying it because in my head Like, I don't pay attention to anything else. It was just common sense.
Yeah.
So it was just common sense going into it. So I don't really look at what anybody else is saying or anything like that. So that's kind of where that is. So I'm just trying to like give him his shine for helping me out.
Yeah, for sure. Rod, how you feeling about Puka, man? I know you over there. I see you like, man, I'm waiting to jump in. You like the double dutch. You go ahead and do your thing, bro. Then we're going to get to Travion Henderson and get it cracking, bro. What's up?
So as somebody that loves spending a ton of time, there's nothing I invest more time in than these rookies and my rookie process and stuff like that. The reason why I love Puka Nacua so much is because he exposed all the flaws that we have in our system when it comes to processing rookies in the draft process. He was a high, he was a 4-star recruit coming out of high school. He went to Washington, which is a good program when it comes to wide receivers. We just had 3 drafted last year in the NFL draft. And he transferred not because of talent. He transferred to be closer with his family because his grandmother was going through cancer treatment. So he went through that process. He unfortunately went through a lot of different injuries. But when he did play, he was always the number one, playmaker on the field, regardless of what team he was playing. Also, too, he was a dynamic wide receiver. He could get carries out of the backfield. He had a lot of rushing yards in college. And the biggest thing was when he went to the Senior Bowl, he got hurt there as well. So when he ran at his pro day, and he ran, I don't think he ran at the combine, but when he ran at his pro day and people were commenting on how slow he was, they weren't taking into account that he had one of the fastest GPS scores or speeds that were clocked in college football. So between his recruiting, between his GPS, his production, how dynamic he was, there was no player that I had to add more metrics to with my research than Puka Nacua, because he showed all the flaws, not just for everybody and why he fell to where he did. I think it was in the 5th round, but also too, like, he made my process a lot better with all these different things to look at. And each of these players, they all have journeys, they all have context. And just to see him absolutely dominate, set records the last 2 years at the wide receiver position. So that's the reason why I love him. It's not just, it's awesome. His demeanor, he's always got a smile on his face.
Cool dude. Yep.
He plays with this toughness that is really, really awesome to see at the wide receiver position.
He loves the block, right?
That's
one thing that he'll sit there and drill you like this up the field. So,
but he gets smashed all the time. He just gets back up.
Yeah. Yep.
So all those worries that we had about, his injury and stuff like that, like it was tough seeing him not being able to play at the beginning of this past season. But as soon as he came back on, it was just like Cooper Cup, who was pretty much what it was. So that's the reason why I love Puka Nacua. He just completely showed all the flaws in our system, and he made me much better when it comes to looking at these rookies.
Yeah, nah, man. Like shout out to my boy Puka. I had a freak, man. You a wild boy, man, for sure. That was a funny comment. But yeah, man, I love me some Puka, man. That's my boy. And it ended all though, Bruce, man. Travion Henderson, out of all the rookies, you said this was your guy, or I guess the guy that you told us, for the future. What about him, man, that stands out over the rest, man? I'm sure you could have went through the top, 8 players and made them one, but what about Travion, man, that kind of gets you there, bro?
I'm an Ohio State guy, first and foremost. Not sense. Too far off from Columbus, Ohio. And honestly, I just love this running back class. I'm very fluid with it, especially when I'm looking at it for Dynasty Fantasy Football's sake. But when I look at Travion Henderson, I just like the kid in general, actually. He's a pretty standout dude.
Yeah.
Let's see. Day called him up, asked him whether or not he wanted Quinshon Judkins to come up, and he said, cool, because he pretty much had the last say, technically, because it could have been his backfield, but he was cool to let him have that, let him share the position with him as well, to come up with that. 5-star kid, worked through some injuries, got some upside there, probably going to look good at the combine. I like him. What I like about him more is he's a good kid, like a good character kid, because I like so many running backs in this class, and I don't really have any favorites, but sometimes it's the storylines that get me. And him, Emeka Egbuka too. Emeka Egbuka came to my hometown I did not get to meet with him. I tried. The newspaper left me on red pretty much, but I was trying to meet with him and a few other Buckeyes. But I was able to get around and talk to some people. He's a real standout dude, very mature. Like he's like in his mid-30s right now, head-wise. Type of
Well,
dude.
it's funny, Bru, because T-Rock he's an advocate Ohio State Buckeye itself, man. So it sounds like, man, we on the same wavelength today, man, for real.
Bruce, I could have had you over for dinner last night when I was cooking this up. I live in Westerville right now. I've been in Columbus since 2010.
Okay, I'm in Washington Courthouse. So they came down. We have a Scarecrow Festival, and they had a church thing, and they came and spoke. There was them. Oh, shoot. G. Scott, I used to follow his live streams on YouTube, and he wouldn't have many people watching. We'd talk to each other pretty much all day, and it was like 4 years ago. So I was actually very excited to try to meet G. Scott. I was trying to contact our newspaper and contacting people around town, trying to just get in contact with these guys, just even like 5 seconds of content or whatever, but didn't work out that way. But what I've heard, and it's from legit people in my town, is that he's a very good dude, very good character.
Yeah, that's what I love more, man. I've grown to just start enjoying the person more so than what they doing on the field, because at the end of the day, if your son or your nephew, your uncle, your cousin, they go, become an athlete, and you want people to respect them, show them some love, but you also want to get that respect back, especially as a fan. You spending money and your time invested in players. You just want to see a guy, he said, hey, what's up back, So that's like the best thing, especially from these athletes. And unfortunately, we got social media and people blowing up the DMs, telling them how much they suck and this and that. So good to hear Travian, a good, solid dude. Rock, anything for Travian before we get into the show, though?
And I love what
let you get your smoke. I know you want to say something, brother.
I love what Urson says. I am a certified Buck Nut. Let's go Bucks. Just a Buckeye alum. I'm very proud of that school and all the talent that's been able to come out into the NFL. Here are some of these stats that I have for Travion Henderson that are pretty special. So he did have a very high PFF grade at 91.8, which you love to see. He is just tough as a runner. Like, he does have an injury history, but he has one of the best yards after contact, which is what we love to see at 4.43, one of the best in the class. He's got 7 yards per attempt per rush. That's pretty awesome. And he does have some elusiveness. That's one of the things with this class, being this is a big, thick boy class. There's all these running backs that are coming out that are like 210, 215, 220. So you love to see that he's still got that elusiveness with that size. But I'm also really excited about his receiving chops. He ran for 15.4 routes per game, which is pretty awesome. That's what you want to see. He's got that over Judkins. I think he's a better receiver than Judkins. And I think that's ultimately the reason why he's going to get drafted ahead of him, why he wasn't afraid for Judkins to be able to come. But yeah, he saved him a little bit when it came to the carry load. But he put enough on film that I think he's going to be either the second or third running back that's taken in this NFL class. So I'm super excited for him. He came out as a 5-star recruit, the first overall running back, 11th overall in the nation. So super excited to finally see him in the NFL.
I got more about him as a high school recruit. Some other things I like to look at is how many offers the players gets, who's sending those offers. That kind of lets you know, like, the college football market. He got 39 offers. And when you go class to class to class and you go down, you look at every page like I do on video, there are not many kids in every class. It's usually about 5-ish, 6 or 7 that get around 40 or more offers. So that's a good one. And also ran like a 10.95, pushing 200 pounds on the 100. That's just letting you know a marker of his speed when he was younger. And they were comparing him to Christian McCaffrey at that time, which somewhere between that, like DeAndre Swift range, somewhere around that in the comparison. But he was a high-end recruit. He was just a top-end guy coming out of high school. You had like teams like Alabama, Auburn, Arkansas, the SEC schools on top of Ohio State, just trying to rock with this kid. And the market was heavy for him. Yeah, heavy for him.
Well, in a recent mock that we did last week, Bruce, we had him going to the Cowboys, man. How you feeling about that?
Was that first round, second round?
This was second round.
Second round? I think that's a good value for them. I think they're in a position where they could even go to running backs this year. Like, that may not be a good thing to some people to hear, but
Yeah.
a long time ago they did it before. Tashard Choice and Felix Jones, they've done that before.
Yeah. Hey, I had
They've
me a
done
Felix
that
Jones
before,
jersey right up in the closet.
and that might be the only thing Jerry Jones remembers. When you listen to him talk, that might be the only thing he remembers. And I wouldn't be putting past any teams drafting 2 running backs because how well this class is, and you're going to catch some values in day 3.
So one of the things that Todd McShay, he has a new podcast that came out, and he had Eric DeCosta on, and he talks about the value, as the Ravens GM to be able to double tap a position. So he's famous for taking Hayden Hurst and Mark Andrews in the same draft class. And then you also have the GM that is out of Philadelphia. He talks about that as well, being able to draft. He's been hammering wide receivers over the last few years and stuff like that. Some of the best GMs, they understand who the best positions are in the draft, and they gobble up all that talent. I think it would actually be very smart for the Cowboys to be able to double tap at the running back position. With this generational class, I think that would be absolutely awesome. We definitely need a running game back in Dallas.
Well, I think the next mock draft I do that's more than 3 rounds, I might have to do that, man. I might have to see how that look, man, So, yeah, man. Well, look, Bruce, we want to show you a little bit of love on your past, current, and future. And I guess we can just start getting it popping, man, seeing what's going on with these landing spots. So I got these 4 rookies up here because these are the, the highlighters, the ones that everybody want to see and want to talk about. But Shedeur Sanders, let's just go ahead and figure it out, Bruce. Shedeur, most likely, we're hearing the Giants. We're hearing, the Cleveland Browns. I just saw on my sleeper app that Kirk Cousins is staying in Atlanta. So all the Cleveland Browns, Kirk Cousins talk is pretty much gone. Titans, the Giants, or maybe Vegas. What out of those 3 teams, realistically, that probably had a chance? Oh, would the Rams, first of all, would the Rams have a chance? Or do we even believe this mess about them getting this 103? Or is that even realistic? Like, I don't know. That's maybe too far down the rabbit hole. So let's just keep it where it is now. Let's just say the Giants, the Titans, and the Raiders. What is Shedeur's best landing spot, you think, as far as success? Let's just say year 1. We always want these Jaden Daniels seasons out of these rookies, which we know we won't get. But a Bo Nix-ish kind of season could be in the works for somebody in a good surroundings. I feel like Bo, when he went to the Broncos, he went with Sean Payton. If Sean Payton wasn't there, I don't think Bo would have had the year he had. But Sean Payton got his guy. He made sure everything was around that he needed, and they ain't gonna do nothing but get better. So out of these 3 spots in Vegas and New York and Tennessee, Bruce, what you think about Shedeur's best landing spot and where he could thrive in year 1 to make us say, damn, I'm glad I took him at the 101, 102, 103 in those dynasty leagues, bro?
Definitely not Cleveland. I would be very scared if we went to Tennessee. Really, kind of a toss-up between Oakland and New York because Brock Bowers and Malik Neighbors. And Bowers is the X factor for me that makes it tight, but Malik Neighbors, like having that rapport, might be able to smooth things out where he has a wide receiver to throw 30 to 40% of the targets to, like the other quarterbacks prior to him last year. And maybe that smooths out the process and development for him. And we have Tyron Tracy back there as well. So, and we can draft another running back to pair with that because we like having multiple running backs for an NFL team. The offensive line is the huge issue, but both teams got huge issues everywhere. That's the funny part.
Yeah.
So, however, when we look at the second round of this year's draft, interior offensive line in the 3rd round is pretty solid. We are getting some tackles that's falling. We're in the upper part of the 2nd round. We might get lucky, or we can trade back in to get one of those, 2nd, 3rd tier offensive tackles that are on the board. It is kind of a deep offensive tackle class, but there's levels to this game. When I look at the Raiders, it's Brock Bowers, and that's a spot where at tight end, I mean, you're not going to find another Brock Bowers. You're just not. You might be able to find another good wide receiver, maybe not a Malik Neighbors, but you're not going to find another Brock Bowers. So that might be the spot. I'm very scared of Cleveland because what they do with their players in general. That would scare me.
History says it all. I'm with you.
But Brock Bowers, just find that at the tight end spot. You may not ever see that again. They're eventually going to find a wide receiver to go with that.
Well, I mean,
That might be it.
Don't sleep on Jacoby Myers, man. I think I read he ain't had a drop pass in like 3-4 years or something, man. So you can't sleep on Jacoby, man. Jacoby, he's not a true one, but he's a serviceable guy.
He's one of the most underrated guys in the league. He's awesome.
He is. And I feel like, so I'm gonna ask you this before I go to Rock. With the coaching, right? You know, we got Pete Carroll over there in Vegas. We got Chip Kelly. Do you think that those guys will be, or would it be the Giants over there with Dable? And you know, which fit do you think as far as the coaching scheme? How would that look between Vegas and New York?
I think with the coaching staff over at the Raiders, we got a little volatility there and some unknown with that. Considering we got Carroll, we're in an older age, new team, we got to flesh some things out. So you might have some volatility there, but however, you got some veterans there. You got coaches that have been everywhere. That's coached a little bit of everything. That's probably a guy like Shedeur, who's grew up a millionaire. That they might be able to deal with him a little better. They might be able to talk to him and really be more of a mentor, leader, help like really rock with him a little bit better. And just seeing what the Giants have done over time. You can't always trust it. Can't always trust them. They're not trustable. So it's very ambiguous with the Raiders, but I just see him like Chip Kelly going to Ohio State. Everything gelled well pretty quickly there. I mean, I think I take that gamble. I take that gamble.
And look, we call them the slot machine dream team over there, man, in Vegas, man. You know, all the old guys stay at the slot machines, and Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly is going to stay there. But I will say, to your point, we got the influence in Vegas. We got Tom Brady there. He's known Shedeur since he was a kid. And, you know, I think Pete Carroll, man, might take this as a challenge to say, hey, I'm back in the NFL now. I got to make this work and actually try his best to make it work with whoever they take. So I actually like Vegas a little bit more for those reasons. But, Rock, man, how you feeling about my guy Shedeur, man, and where he's landing at right now?
So I do not think if he doesn't get drafted by the Giants, I don't think he goes in the top 5. The Raiders have the best offensive line via PFF. The Giants have the 28th. So they're one of the worst offensive lines. If the Giants take Shedeur Sanders, his biggest weakness is his mobility. I'd be kind of terrified, honestly, for Shedeur, despite having Malik Neighbors and Tyrone Tracy. They have a pretty decent offense. They don't have anything outside of those two guys. So they definitely need a quarterback. I think they're going to feel forced to draft Shedeur Sanders because looking at him, I think he grades out between a Bryce Young and a CJ Stroud. I think that's kind of where I see him when it comes to his game. He's a smooth operator when it comes to the way that he not only throws the pass, just his pocket presence in general. He doesn't have a lot of quickness to him. The biggest fear that I have with him is that I don't think he's going to elevate a whatever NFL franchise that he goes to. I think that he is going to be very dependent upon his offensive line, the defense, and just his offensive weapons that he's thrown to. I think the Giants need to build much more of a team in order for them to have surrounded around their cornerstone quarterback. But he does not wow. I don't think he's worthy with his talent to be a top 5 pick. I don't know if you feel the same way, Bruce, but that's just my biggest fear. I think the Giants are going to draft him. I don't think he's going to be – I think he's going to have very tough sledding in New York if he goes there. I don't think he fits the Raiders at all. I don't think he fits a Chip Kelly offense. I don't think he's going to fit that, that high tempo type of scheme that Chip Kelly loves to be able to run. I think Jackson Dart would actually be better for that. I think Pete Carroll loves a much more mobile quarterback than Shedeur Sanders. But I love Shedeur Sanders. I love his accuracy. It's NFL level. It's just these other things that I don't think he's worthy of being a top 10 pick. Because if you're going to invest
top 10 pick, come on, Rock, man.
If you're going to
Jackson Dart lover, man, come on.
If you are going to invest that type of capital, it has to be able to change around your franchise. It does. And all these teams that are picking in the top 10, they have so many needs. That's the reason why they're picking in the top 10. My dream scenario would be him to go to the Jets. The Jets actually have much better roster when it comes to these other teams. They have a much better offensive line, and they have weapons there as well. I would much rather him go to the other New York team than to the Giants, but yeah.
He ain't going to make it at 15, brother. That ain't going to happen, man.
Well, are you seeing some of those same things, Bruce, when it comes to Shedeur that I am?
Yeah, I'm seeing that in some of the mock drafts as well. I'm starting to see, like, I look at all the mock drafts, especially big media. He's starting to get dropping down the board a little bit. Like today, Mel Kiper had him going to the Jets. He had him going to the Jets, and I did a video on that. What's up? Yeah, he had him going. He had slipping past. And then
did he have him buying a jet? Because I don't think he's going to fall. He might have been shopping for one. I don't know, man. Go ahead, Bruce. My bad.
I think really an indicator here is when free agency opens up and these teams that are quarterback needy, FOMOing, feel like they're still in it, or that a lot more teams feel like they're still in it than what they should be. If they start going after those jabroni quarterbacks and they give you a deal in the first couple of days where you're like, hold on, like a Russell Wilson or something like that.
Yeah.
That might be our indicator. Might be our indicator. And you catch something like that with the Browns or the Giants even. That might be our true indicator with that. But I'm also seeing big media mock drafts. They're starting to slide Shedeur down a little bit. I think I saw, Daniel Jeremiah's rankings. He had Shedeur down a little bit. That came out. The update was like 2 days ago. So there's like little rumblings with that I'm seeing that. And also, like, when you also look at the position wells in this draft, like looking at that as a whole, like, we're pretty good on the defensive side. We're pretty good. We got some offensive linemen too, where some of these teams where if you're offensive lineman needy, you also got Travis Hunter, which might be a guy that you may not want to pass on.
Chico,
play both ways. It's really hard to really account for that compared to other players who probably go top 3-ish, and it's hard seeing them go past that point, past 4 or 5. So that's going to be in the mix. This is this class, when it comes to other positional values and what you can money ball with those fringe quarterbacks, is really going to be something these teams are going to have to look at.
Well, I will say though, we do have smoke screens, and I believe this is always the time of smoke screens and GMs and coaches kind of putting out there how much they don't like a player or they not looking into them. And next thing you know, on draft day, they traded three future firsts to go up and get some guy that we didn't even believe that they would take. So, we'll see, man. I'm a Shedeur guy, man. As you can see, I got him in the intro. That's my guy. So, moving on from Shedeur, though, man, I will say a guy like Ashton Jeanty, probably our pick 101 in most of our dynasty leagues. Even no matter the scoring, the format, whatever you believe in with your PPR, 1 QB, 2 QB, most people will take an Ashton Jeanty. So, best landing spot for the guy. I think recently in our last mock, I ain't even look at the one from last. I should have took the one from last night, but we do mocks every Monday with our Patreons, and last week we had him at going to the Patriots. So going to the Patriots, I kind of liked it because I said, you know what? I know how Mike Vrabel is. He had Derrick Henry. He built this offensive line around him. He slowed down the offense and kind of played defense and ran the ball. Drake May, I don't think will allow them to just play defense and run the ball because Drake May is a pretty damn good quarterback. But I do believe if Jeanty so happened to land in New England, now you got your QB, you got your running back, you got an okay O-line. Your defense is solid. We know Vrabel's there. I mean, I like the Patriots, man, with that landing spot in a sense with what we had in that mock. But to defer from that mock and just say what we think for the best landing spot, Rock, I'm going to let you go on this one, bro. What we got with Ashton Jeanty, and where would you want to see him go to be the best for us when we draft him? Because we don't care where he go in real life. We want for our fantasy teams, man. Where we drafting him at so we can score some points and win some championships, bro?
I think when it comes to, because I actually have the draft guide pulled up, I wanted to see if there was anything in there as far as just little nuggets that we could talk about real quick with going back to Shedeur Sanders. It says he has all the tools to be a successful NFL quarterback. To your point, and I know that you love this about Shedeur, his work ethic, being big in big moments, accuracy and ball placement, those are all things. So I didn't want to get too much on they hate. That's the upside when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
Shedeur Sanders. But going back to Ashton Jeanty, honestly, he is so damn good. I think he's one of those running backs that can go to any situation. So when it comes to running backs, usually the top 10 running backs in fantasy football, they're part of top 10 offenses. There's not that many top 10 offenses that go, that are drafting in the early parts of the NFL draft. But he could be like that Chuba Hubbard, where he is part of, a terrible offense, but he is so damn good at, just playing the position, and they just make him the cornerstone of the offense. I think that's why it doesn't necessarily matter which team that he goes to. But yeah, I would love for him to go to Dallas, because they have the quarterback there, they have the wide receiver there, and they need him. It just seems too perfect, that's just the main thing that they're missing, I think, on offense. That is my absolute.
You trying to lower me back, man. You trying to lower me back, man. I'm over those guys right now, man. You trying to brighten the stars, Rock. I hear you, man. Go ahead.
What? So why do you not? Are you too afraid of just getting your hopes up? Is that what it is? You just don't want to get crushed again, so you don't want to see the best running back in the class go to your team.
Well, I heard somebody say this, and I know the Cowboys how they draft, and they definitely don't even draft running backs half the time. Like for the last couple of years, they haven't even taken one. And a lot of times they just go deep, especially with we just lost another O lineman, the great Hall of Fame, future Hall of Famer Martin just left. We need D line, we need O line. I just know Jerry like them big boys, man, them big beefy boys up front. And I will say this: if Abdul Carter somehow, some way falls, that there's no question who we're taking right there. I believe so. I don't know if we're just gonna take running back, man. I just think every year in the media we hit a hype on this big, fantastic, high flashing player that the Cowboys supposed to take, and I think it's just more so to sell wolf tickets and get people to click and watch. I don't think the Cowboys gonna draft no Ashton Jeanty, bro. But if he's there for some reason, I ain't gonna lie, I'm definitely gonna be on the edge of my seat wondering, damn, man, we gonna do it. But I wouldn't put no money on it, man, on prize picks or nothing. So it is what it is.
The teams that go ahead of Dallas that I would absolutely love for him to go to as well. Chicago at 10 would be absolutely amazing with Ben Johnson, that new regime,
terrible and everything. I still take it. Yep.
Yeah, that and San Francisco. San Francisco is one of my favorite teams. I love Shanahan. I love that system. So if they have the next Christian McCaffrey out there that could do it all, man, San Francisco to be back in the playoffs. Just
don't help San Fran, brother. We want them to keep losing and continue staying at the bottom.
No, Brock Purdy needs all the help he can get. So. But yeah, those are my landing spots. Those three, I think, would be the absolute best.
Okay, what you got, Bruce? What you feeling?
First off,
on your radar.
First off, you said something that got me off topic. Nick Diaz is my favorite fighter of all time, favorite athlete of all time. And you mentioned the term wolf tickets. He's synonymous with that, especially leading up to the GSP fights. Telling the UFC and all the fans they were selling wolf tickets. So
yeah,
loved it when that came out. Yeah. When I think about landing spots, I mean, realistically, he ain't going to go to like the Chargers or anything like that. He ain't going to fall that far. I think what would be the deepest he would fall? Like, let's go there. What would be the deepest? Like I don't see him reaching the Pittsburgh. Like, he wouldn't go that far, right?
Nah.
Let's answer that. A lot of people mocking that, but I don't see that happening.
Well, I seen a lot of Minnesota early. I would love Minnesota. I just don't think that he'll go that far, though.
So you're looking at that Cowboys 49ers range. They're like right with each other. And in that area of the draft, you're kind of looking at the second or third best offensive tackle off the board. You're looking at edge rushers like Mike Green.
Yeah, Mike Green.
Michael Williams. So you're looking at that. So those are tempting things. So when I'm looking at those two squads, they're either going to go with one of those not so fun players.
Yep.
Or they might do that splash. They might feel like they need to. They might feel, or someone trades up. There might be a trade up to the middle of that. If he falls a little bit, like a pick or two, there's a trade up scenario.
The problem is the 49ers picking right in front of Dallas, and they'll do it just because they don't want Dallas to do it. That's something that the Eagles would do. Since they pick right in front of them, they'll say, you know what? we ain't gonna let them get him, so let's just take him anyway, like that. Or let's trade our pick away. But they'll make sure the Cowboys do not get him if he's sitting there where they are. I promise you that.
It'd be great for content though, because then you can paint the narrative. Like you got Christian McCaffrey as Ric Flair, and now we got Ashton Jeanty as HBK coming in WrestleMania. We got Christian McCaffrey on his knees, right? Just like, hey, no, I want another season. And next thing you know, Sweet Chin music. That would be funny. That would be the meme going into that.
Hey, you Bruce, know Shawn Michaels, my boy, Bruce. That's my guy right there, man. Go ahead, Rob.
To your question about the farthest he could go, because everything that we're seeing right now, it's not going to actually happen on draft day. Draft day is the ultimate, like, man, I did not see that coming. Oh, it's just like you could think about Michael Penix. That was the craziest thing that's ever happened, like draft history.
Crazy.
But to a lesser extent, that stuff happens all the time. Teams pick players that we just did not see coming. And a lot of that just comes back to we're focused on the, what is it called? The star players when it comes to the flashy positions, all the offensive positions and stuff like that. But NFL teams, they're built in the trenches. That's why this class, it's got so many great pass rushers. It's got so many D linemen in general and offensive linemen. That's what a lot of these teams need. So I would not be surprised if Jeanty does fall, despite how good of a running back he is. I think the farthest he falls is 16-17 range with the Cardinals and Cincinnati. Cincinnati had Chase Brown last year, who was absolutely amazing. But if you have Jeanty, you're not going to be able to pass on him, even with Chase Brown. Arizona has James Conner. I know that they love James Conner, but he is getting older. So if they want to prolong how they can use him, I think Arizona actually has one of the most underrated run games in the NFL. So if you had James Conner and Ashton Jeanty, I know they just picked Trey Benson last year, but they might have missed on him. So if you miss on a pick, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't, not try it again and stuff like that. I think that's the farthest we see him fall is the 16-17 range.
Well, I think somebody might trade up. If he fall that far, I'm trading up. Like Minnesota, they just traded up last year and gave away their second and ended up getting, 2 prime picks. We thought they was going to trade up to get their quarterback, but their quarterback fell right to them and they ain't had to trade up. So they just used the other pick on defensive line. So if I'm Minnesota, though, man, he only 4 spots in front of me. I'm making that call, man. I got to hurry up and make that move. So,
even with the depth of this class, we will be willing to trade up because Marion Hampton is also very good. Caleb Johnson's very good. Travion Henderson, very good.
The reason why I'm going to say this, though, is because J.J. McCarthy, let's say he is our starter. Now he's a rookie, right? I'm going to try my best to get the best players around him. And if Ashton Jeanty is there, I need JJ to have less on his plate, worry about nothing. And if I got a tool like, Ashton Jeanty sitting right there in front of me, that's less I got to worry about my rookie quarterback struggling through the season. I could just say, you know what? This his off game. Let me get Ashton the ball and we're going to run him down. So if I'm Minnesota after losing the way we lost in the playoffs, after having this great big season and, I need the best players around my best players, man. So that's what, if I'm Minnesota, man, that's where I want to see him go. So, but I'm with you though. We got other running backs coming up after that, and it wouldn't be bad if they missed on them. But Luther Burton, Tyler Warren, man, let's kind of wrap them up in a bow. Tyler Warren, he's a tight end. A lot of people hate tight ends. He's not Brock Bowers, as Bruce said. We'll never get another Brock Bowers at this point. But Bruce, man, Tyler Warren, where's his best landing spot? And right behind that, Rock, you go with Luther Burton and let us know how you feeling about him. So where you got us at with Tyler Warren, Bruce?
Looks like I don't see Tyler Warren really falling in the draft. I just don't see it happening. It could due to like how well other position groups are. I look for him getting cooked up a bit. I don't want him going to the Colts. No, I don't know. He'd be on the field quick though.
Yeah,
but that's a thing. But there's a lot of variables there. Yeah. I'm just thinking about the top of the draft. Who could pull that trigger? The Saints would be fun.
They would. Kellen Moore, yeah.
That would be fun.
Okay. Can we get him? Can we get him with the Chargers, man? Can we just take him with the Chargers and put him with Justin Herbert? I think that's where I want him to go.
I would love that. I think we need to trade up to get him.
You think so?
I think that's a trade up spot unless there's an offensive tackle run. If they start going early, that could happen. I
Yeah.
can see an offensive tackle run that could do something.
Okay, so best landing spot though. What out of all the teams? I know you say you might have him dropping a little bit or moving up. He won't drop. Out of that top 13 to 14-ish range, where you think you got him at, bro? Or what would be your perfect landing spot? I'm drafting him. Like, what would boost his dynasty market for us if he gets to one of those top 14, 15 teams?
All right. Thinking about this. Let's just say hypothetical things, weird things happen, and we're throwing the Chiefs out there. We're not going to do that because that's just child's play.
Yeah, right.
Denver Broncos. Bo Nix.
That's it.
Short to intermediate targets. That position of need.
Yep.
Pass catchers in that area that could be very volatile where they're at. I've mocked Colston Loveland there a few times.
Yep. I like that too.
That could be an interesting spot. That's an interesting tight end spot for me. Looking at that, especially with how Bo Nix likes to, he'll just live for the next down and just take that shorter target. And I think that could be over time a good spot with Sean Payton as well. He likes the tight end. Supposedly, I think historically, unless they just hit on Jimmy Graham, but if I'm thinking off the rip there, that's it. That's probably be it. If I'm thinking dream tight end landing spot, that's not like glorified like the Chiefs or anything like that.
So tight end premium league, if you got Tyler Warren on the board, he in the Denver Broncos, how you taking him, bro?
Not super high because I'm going to be just slamming running backs like crazy, and I'll probably be a little bit lower than consensus. I'll say that it'll be it really depends when I start feeling ick at running back. Really depends on where the running backs go.
Yeah.
But when I start feeling ick, that could be 105, that could be 106, that could be high, that could be low. But when I start feeling ick at running back, that's probably when I'll make that move.
Okay, and Bruce, I was watching you this morning. My fault, Rock. I got you. But when Rock had brought up Chuba Hubbard, I thought about you because I saw it was just like a couple days ago. You had said something about you don't have enough about Chuba, man. You got to start doing a little bit more content about Chuba. So I was watching you this morning and I heard Rock mention Chuba. I was like, damn, bro, we on the same move. So what you got, Rock, for Luther Burton, bro? Where he going and where we need him at? Because I've been hearing the Cowboys, man, a lot. So
it's kind of a shame that you gave him Tyler Warren because Tyler Warren is my favorite player in this draft.
Well, you ain't say something, brother. You gotta let me know, man.
I'm sorry about that. Let me just say this.
I didn't give you Luther Tyler Warren because for some reason around here, Bruce, South Harmon, these people do not like tight ends. I'm the only guy around here that likes tight ends. And
you and me too.
Kyle Pitts is my guy. So the tight end metrics, and I get it. I get the numbers and how it pans out, but my team does not like the tight end position, brother. So I figure I'll save Rock the heartache of having to talk about it. My bad, bro.
The best write-up in this draft guide, go check out Tyler Warren's because I'm the one that wrote that one. So he runs.
Damn, bro. Now I feel bad, man. Go ahead. You can talk a little bit about Tyler Warren then, bro. You done made us feel bad now.
So my comp for him is the juggernaut. The way that he runs just through players, he's got the momentum of a semi-truck is what I talk about with him. Even though people are going to bring up that he only came on in his last year at Penn State, man, he was only behind Harold Fannin as far as production grade. He was 3 points off in my grading for production when it comes to a perfect score. He had a 30% target share. He had 33% of the receiving yards for Penn State. He had yards per route run 2.77. That's really, really good. And then when it comes to receiving snaps, that's one of the things that I look at with tight ends is how much are they blocking? How much are they going on a route? 444. The only other two tight ends that had more than him were Oronde Gadsden and Gunnar Helm. They had 480, which is absolutely insane. So I'm super excited about him. I think he can go as high as the Saints at number 9. I think that they definitely need a playmaking weapon there to go along with Chris Olave. I do not think that he goes past the Colts. I know that you were talking about with the Colts, that's like the worst case scenario when it comes to landing spot. But if we're doing that because of their quarterback with A-Rich needing to develop as a passer, if he does not develop, he's going to get benched again. So, like in the NFL not being a non-for-long league, I don't think that even if he does go to the Colts, that situation is going to be terrible forever. He might have to gut through it for 6 to 8 games, but if A-Rich does not get his shit together, then, they're going to get another quarterback in there that's going to be able to pass the ball. So they need a tight end. They've been looking for one ever since Dallas Clark left. So I think that would be
they
the
need
ultimate.
one, but we don't want them to go there, brother. That's the thing. But nah, go ahead on Luther Burden though, bro. You know what? Speaking of that though, since you have brought up Tyler Warner, you're right up, bro. I did want to say, we got the draft guide out now, just dropped on Sunday. I put the link in the chat. I can't see my own links. I don't know if you see it or not, but I will leave it in the comments. Click the link. Go ahead, get the draft guide, learn about the top 50. I believe it might be more than 50 now. Of the best offensive rookies coming in. Got the combine this week. It's a live update. Every time a player does better, does well, they drop, they rise. We're gonna update it as we go. So get that draft guide over here, South Harmon. What's the site? Right, I done put it in the chat. I got so much going on in my mind. I can't
just
even
look
get
up South Harmon, SouthHarmonFF.com.
Yep, we got in. I put it in the chat and I'll leave it in the comments after the show. So check out the draft guide, baby. Come through, show a little bit of love, and learn these rookies while you got the time. But go ahead on Luther Burden, Rock, while you got it. Did you write on Luther Burden too, brother?
I did not write about Luther Burden, but I do have his write-up up, and it's got a lot of good stuff. So with Luther Burden, he is going to be mainly out of the slot, and a lot of people are going to knock him for that. But here's the thing. Some of the best wide receivers in the league, Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, they operate a lot out of the slot. I actually think it's kind of a plus. If you're going to go immediately into the slot, that means that you are going to have, that early on production, at the very start of your NFL career. And also, too, he can play. He's kind of like a Mika Ibuka, where it's just like, yeah, he operated mainly out of the slot, but that doesn't mean that he can't operate on the outside. I would love to hear what Bruce has to say about his recruiting, because he's the second best recruit coming out of this class. The only one that was better than him was Emeka. So Luther Burden, he was the second overall, or second wide receiver, 14th overall, 5-star recruit. When it comes to some of his more advanced metrics, he did have an early breakout age too, 94th percentile. He had a 54.5% contested catch rate, so he can go up and get the ball. When it comes to targets per route run, 27%. That's one of the best in the class. So you see with Luther Burden, an explosive wide receiver, probably has of the top 3 between him, T-Mac, and Emeka, he's definitely the most explosive wide receiver. I think he has a ton of upside when it comes to his separation and stuff like that. He also has one of the best hands in the class too. He catches everything that's thrown his way. He's got a great catch radius, despite not even having elite height. That's one of the best things that's in this write-up. And yeah, that's what I have about Luther Burden here. I think I'm pretty excited for him.
Yeah. But landing spot, bro. You gotta give us a landing spot, man. What do you think?
Landing spot, I think he could go.
That's what we want to hear about, brother.
He could go. Man, if Chris Godwin does not if he leaves Tampa, I think that would be an amazing spot where he can immediately fill in that slot position. I would love to see him also in Pittsburgh too, between him and Emeka. A lot of the positions that Emeka could go to, Luther Burden can go to, because they both play the slot position. I think those would probably be the 2 best. I think if he falls a little bit, man, Washington. I think he doesn't get past Washington. But yeah, that's another spot that Emeka could go. Sorry about that. I got too excited about all the analytics and all
brother.
that kind of stuff.
You good, brother?
Good,
bro. You said you wanted Bruce to look up his recruit.
Oh yeah. What were some of your notes about him as a recruit?
All right. So this is the time my channel just really started covering high school recruits. However, 5-star recruit with my process, 39 offers. Just everybody wanted this kid. Georgia, Alabama, big time recruits. I also want to see if LSU was in on him, because that's another tell. Let's see here. Yep. Wait, I don't see him there. Yep, they're there. So what LSU, they have a guy. They look at wide receivers. They have a type of wide receiver. They like wide receivers. If you just go down and watch every wide receiver they recruit, you'll notice the tendencies. They like wide receivers that are very twitched up off the break and off the release. You'll see that with Luther Burden's game. They had him compared to Amari Cooper coming out. They actually say he was good at 50-50 balls back then, good play strength. Also say he can play in multiple facets. I think the fact that he's a 5-star with high pedigree with the collegiate market is a good tell. And the fact that we have first-round potential draft capital, that pretty much we entered a race and we went wire to wire with it throughout his collegiate career. That is a good thing to see, a good thing to note. I think going into draft season, a lot of people had him a lot higher than now. I think a lot of people, from what I'm trying to gauge on social media, it could be wrong, might be a bad feed I got. But I feel like people are trying to cool off on him. Also, big media is cooling off on him, which I think when I look at the wide receiver market going in this year's draft, since it's kind of top heavy with the talent, that the market's going to be like, I better get my guy now, or we're going to have some problems later if I want a wide receiver. And they might plant their flag a little harder than expected. You also got the other position pools, obviously, but I could definitely see that happening. I don't see him really slipping too far. Dream landing spots. T-Rock said a lot of them. I'll throw the Texans in there, but I don't really, it's hard for me to see him falling. But that's another one.
I had the Texans, yep.
But yeah, Washington's a great one. I don't see him going too far past that point. Cincinnati, depending on what they want to do with T. Higgins for the long term, they liked having 3 good wide receivers for the longest time. There's a lot of volume in that offense. There's a lot of good spots. Because the thing about his game, though, like his ADOT was like around 9-ish throughout his collegiate career. And short intermediate targets, but also has the athleticism to stretch it a little bit. We see that. But that means he's very malleable with his game. You can put him anywhere in the slot, outside a little bit. He can play just about any team and have an impact there, and probably be fantasy. 49ers, if something happens to Debo, the reason with Mizzou, they bring him in, and first thing they try to do, get him carries, short stuff. Just they got their 5-star. We got to get this guy on the field. That's what happened that freshman. We got to get this. We got to figure it out. He's young guy. He's raw, but we got to figure it out. They got him carries, short stuff. If Debo moves on, I'm not saying a comp, but there's like a play style that they can probably work with on that. That's very similar that they could use to fill that gap if they want to. But I don't like they just drafted a first-round wide receiver, Brandon Ayuk. How we coming back from that injury? There's a lot of question marks, but it's also a very thick part of the draft. Thick. So it's really hard to say yay or nay, but there's another spot.
Well, I will say the good thing about Luther, man, it sounds like to me, bro, he can't go wrong wherever he goes. Like, it sounds like every team that needs a receiver, he has a chance to have a good start to his career because the position just looks good with the quarterback room, the coaching staff around, all those teams we named. He can be, rookie of the year candidate with those quarterbacks if he lands in those spots. So maybe other than Pittsburgh, but Washington, Cincinnati, Houston, it's countless other teams, 49ers. He can go to these teams, man, and have a breakout rookie season, bro. So if I'm Luther, I'm sitting back like, hey, man, it's looking good for me. Hopefully I go to the right spot and get the right start to my career like a lot of my other peers. So
He ain't going to San Francisco, though, because you got Ricky Pearsall. You got Ricky Pearsall, one of the best wide receivers that came out last year.
We don't want to see San Fran get better ever, brother. So shout out to the landing spots, though, man. And we're going to take a quick little intermission. You want to get you some water, get you some coffee, Bruce, do your thing, man. Quick little 40 seconds. We're going to let the people join, subscribe, like, tap in with us, and we'll be right back, baby.
Welcome to South Harmon. We glad you here today. Like and subscribe, that's what we really appreciate. Welcome to South Harmon. We glad you here today. Like and subscribe, that's what we really appreciate.
Just like that, we back, baby. We back. So hopefully y'all liked and subscribe if you wasn't already. And we're glad y'all here as well. So We got a new segment coming up, man. You know, Bruce, I don't know if you noticed, but my boy Rock is a chef, man. He loved to cook. He loved to Bruce, I want to ask you, do you go down to the expo, man, when they come in town?
I've been there a few times the first couple years. I haven't the last few years because honestly, I feel like it's a good arbitrage for me because all the content creators are going to the expo.
Yeah.
And that weekend, I rock it hard doing content and getting things ready for this. It's at a money ball. It's at a money time of the year.
Yeah.
Right at the draft season. Like, it's right there, right before that time of the year where things really start to pop off with the content, the income and the money for content. And then it flows up from there. So I feel like that's too crucial of a time for me to go. I feel like I'll start heading back that way when I feel like I'm a little bit more established with where I'm at. Maybe around 100K subscriber range or somewhere around there. But right where I can just drop one video a day and feel good and feel not stressed out. But right now, I can't do that. I can't leave the channel. I can't leave it.
I'm with you. Well, I will say this. The reason why I brought it up is because I went down to the expo. It's just I made intro songs. You can saw I made the intro. I made intro songs for a couple people, and my guys Mike and Adam over here, South Harmon, asked me to make the intro, and then the expo came 2 years ago. That was the Dez Bryant year, and they was like, man, just come down and come stay with us, man, and kick it. So we end up having this school. So it's a old church. Well, not a church. Well, it was an old school that they made it to an Airbnb, and literally every room, classrooms everywhere had beds in them. So it was like 30, 40. It sleeps like 30 or 40, but I want to say like 20 plus of us. I came in, met the guys, and my boy right here, T-Rock, this right here is, I told him he like the uncle of the house. You know, on Thanksgiving when everybody just come over, everybody from out of town, because nobody really lives around each other. So we like 20 guys from out of town. We fly into Canton, Ohio. We link up at the school, and Rock is the heartbeat, man. He feed us in the morning, feed us at night, and he is the cook. He is the heart and soul of the school, man. Unfortunately, we won't have the school this year, but he's still going to cook for us anyway. So this is his segment, his time.
Nice.
Give us a little bit of love on what he got cooked up. So, Rock, man, without further ado, brother.
Yeah.
I hope that was a long intro, but, I don't want to get Bruce up to speed.
You guys like Canton, Ohio? You guys like that town?
It's kind of a one-horse town. There's really nothing there outside of the Hall of Fame. But here's the thing. You don't go to Canton for the town. You go to Canton for the expo. You go there for the vibes. You go there for the people. Bruce, like, over the last couple of years, it's the number one thing that I look forward to outside of my birthday and Christmas. It is. Because when you go there and you meet with the people, a lot of people are going to be shaking hands and stuff like that, trying to network and stuff. That's great. It's a great place to be able to do that. But you also get to meet some of the people that you've been following. That's been a huge thing of mine, is just all these people that I've watched on YouTube for years now. That's pretty special. But the best thing is the community. When you go there for the community, and I have the ability to be able to cook for them, there ain't nothing else better than that. So I do hope that the next time that we go, you're in the, my backyard, we're going to have to drive down there together. I'll have to take you down there with you, and you could do content there too. It's all about the energy. When you do that, you get a huge boost after the expo, and your content comes out the best. So I will say this year.
I will say, Bruce, like I said, I went there just making my intro songs, and now a year and a half later, I'm here. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of built who I became with this space because of the expo, but that's mostly around being around my guys. And like I said, being at the school, it was a situation where this is, say you following us or certain guys online, and you think they're cool, you want to kick it with them. The school was big enough that we had people from other channels just coming by, man. So I will say we don't do much in the city, but Bruce, the school is so big, bro. We had a gymnasium, we had the kitchen. The school is so big, we brought the party to the school. So we don't even leave the premises. We just like, hey, man, you want to come? We was playing NCAA 2K25 tournaments. Yeah. Like we was having a blast, bro. So enough about the school that we don't have anymore because they sold it. So we out of there. But Rock, man, give us what's on the menu. I pulled up hold on. You know what, Rock? I'm gonna give you a little bit of love on this one.
All right. Oh my God.
Hey,
That was supposed to be
Rock,
for the end, Fizz.
my old man, my bad. My man cooked up this burrito, man. I put up the ingredients. So this is what he sent me last night. He said, bro, share this, letting people know this is what it was. And I ain't gonna lie, I said, man, look good, Rock. I gotta send you some pictures, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and give your ingredients list and just let us know a little bit of love that you put in it, and we're gonna get back to it, brother.
Fizz was so excited to show that video. If you can notice a little bit, it's covered up now, but my wife took a bite out of that freaking burrito before I could even take a picture of it. I was like, damn it.
It's all good, bro.
So Bruce, being a burrito guy, Bruce, do you know what a California burrito is? You ever heard of those before?
No, not at all.
So California burrito, it's a combination of the best of Mexico and the best of the American cuisine. So when people think of American cuisine, what do they think of? French fries. So they think it's a combination, kind of like a Primanti sandwich out of Pittsburgh. It takes French fries and it puts it inside of the burrito. So this is we already got all the. If you want, Fizz, you can keep the ingredients up and stuff like that. So I don't have to go. I'm just going to go straight to the recipe.
There we go.
So you're going to want to slice up your short rib into thin slices, and you're going to want to place those into a bowl. Then we're going to marinate that meat. And with the meat, you can do, a lot of people do carne asada, which is just like you can do a flat iron steak or any type of protein that you want. I think beef is the best. They didn't have short rib at the store, but here's the thing. I learned this actually yesterday.
Boneless chuck, right?
Chuck roast. Yes, exactly. The top
Dad on TikTok taught me that.
Yeah, I just learned that yesterday. And it's just like you could save yourself a lot of money if you just go for the chuck roast. That big part that's at the top right there, that's actually right below that is the bones. That's where you get the short rib from. So I bought one of those, and you just I think it was Terminal that said it last week or somebody, just put it in the freezer for like a couple of minutes so it firms up a little bit. It's going to be a lot easier to be able to slice that thing up. So once you get those sliced and put into a bowl, you're going to want to marinate your meat. So with the marination, it comes with, you're going to want to do avocado oil, oregano, garlic powder, cumin, salt, and soy sauce. And you're going to want to mix that together. Now, cooking it last night, you're going to want to make sure that you do not put too much salt or soy sauce on it. It came out a little bit salty. So what I would recommend doing is just instead of unscrewing that cap like I did and pouring that whole thing in there, just pour a little bit of that soy sauce in there. Wait till the end to salt it. So while that is marinating, and the nice thing about this recipe, you do not need to wait long on the marinade. But while you gather the rest of your things, you're going to want to cook up your French fries. Unfortunately, the Rally's French fries were all sold out. They're always sold out, man. So it's just like I ended up going with Arby's fries, which is not, it's not a bad thing to be able to go with. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they're pretty good. So once you're cooking those French fries, I use an air fryer. It's the absolute best Christmas present that I've gotten in years. But you're going to want to oil up your pan. So once you oil up your pan, you're going to want to turn it to about medium-high heat till it's barely smoking. Then you're going to want to cook that meat. Now with the soy sauce and the sugars that are in there, you're going to have to, constantly be turning it so it doesn't get too overcooked. And with it being thinly sliced and being from this cut of meat, it's going to cook very, very quickly. It's only going to take maybe about 5 minutes. It took me about less than 10 minutes to cook up that whole thing. It's going to cook up fast. While it's doing that, you can heat up your tortilla. You can do it in a dry pan. I just threw it in the oven at 350 for about a minute and a half. Now, while you are building your burrito, you're going to start with your beef. Then you're going to add your cheese. So in the recipe, this recipe comes from Sam the Cooking Guy. Sam the Cooking Guy is one of my favorite chefs on YouTube. If you just look up California burrito, you're going to be able to find this recipe here. Now, I like authentic Mexican cheeses. So I used panela, which is a smooth, salty cheese that's often used in quesadillas. I thought it would be perfect for this. You can also do queso Chihuahua, which is one of my favorites as well. It's an aged, firm cheese similar to cheddar. You can go with cotija too, a hard, salty cheese, which is also used as a topping. If you do not want to go with those fancy cheeses or you don't have access to them, just do Monterey Cheddar and Jack, or Monterey Jack and Cheddar. So while you are building it, you go with the beef first, then you're going to go with the cheeses, then you add your fries, pico de gallo. With pico de gallo, you can also just use salsa, but usually you can find that at the grocery store. Pico de gallo, guacamole, and chipotle sauce. The chipotle sauce that I have is the same one that I use for my carnitas. And yeah, you got the recipe right up there too. It's very simple: sour cream, mayo, 2 parts to 1 part, and some lime juice and some chipotle peppers.
There we go.
That's all you need. Then the hardest thing
It's folding it up, right? Rolling it up.
Rolling that bitch up. Because like the first one that I made, so that's the second one that's on that picture. That's the one that I made for my wife. The first one, Fizz, I made it way too big. I got way too hungry. And it was a bitch to be able to roll up. So make sure that when you either do that, you either get massive tortillas or you just got to make sure that when you roll it up, don't put too much on there.
Where I'm at, it's hard finding good tortillas. It's just really hard. Like, I got Walmart, I got Aldi, and that's about it. I mean, I got Kroger, but I stay away from there. I stay away from Kroger because it's too expensive.
Well, I will say, just don't forget the Modelo, man. That's the one thing Rock made sure he put in the background for us. So you got to have that.
Yeah, I got my tequilas too in that picture as well.
There we go.
So
there we go. All right, well, Rock, I'm gonna say this, bro. I like that you. I will say this about you, bro. Look, you lit up. My boy smiling, cheesing. His voice then turned up. We gotta start you off with the ingredients, brother. You done woke us up now, man. You good now. You back the way I wanted you to be, man, at the beginning.
Yeah,
brother.
I appreciate
I like where
that.
you at now, man. You on cloud 9, brother.
Absolutely. So how does that sound to you, Bruce? What kind of burritos do you usually go for? But what do you think of this recipe right here?
I love that recipe. The thing about burritos and me, I love that recipe. I will put anything in there that I find. I do meal preps with them as well. So, like, I lift weights. I like to try and hit 200 to 250 grams of protein a day. So, like, Monday to Thursday, I'm set. I'll probably have 2 burritos a day. And the thing is, I'll put, like, ground turkey, Greek yogurt as my sour cream to get extra protein and plus a little less on calories. Whatever, and fine. If I have I mentioned that in the message, like, say Thanksgiving's done and I got stuffing and all that stuff, I'll kind of fry it up, get a little crispy, put it in the burrito. Like how you did it, I always got to have the burrito crispy. I got to have it sealed. One thing I like to do is lay down some cheese in the pan, let it melt up, put the burrito on it, and then wrap it in the cheese sometimes. So you get a little cheese crust, and you can put that knife on it, and you hear a scrape, scrape, scrape.
Yeah.
One underrated tortilla that I've been using because I'm in a nowheresville. So I can't go like extravagant when finding ingredients. There's like these wraps at Aldi. They're red and green. They're supposed to be like health food, but they got the same amount of calories as any other tortilla. However, they're a little bit more stretchy, and I can pack in a little bit, and that's all I really care about. And then I get the sear on that, and that's nice. I just being able to get a good stretch out of the tortilla is huge. I'm also a beef guy. I like beef. Steak is being able to cut that up and put that in is huge. And I saw you had the, what was it? What was that meat again? It was
chuck roast.
Chuck roast. I think the one thing people can take away from this take is that if you get the right chuck roast and you can pull it apart, you kind of got the side that butts up against the ribeye. So you kind of got like a Moneyball ribeye type of deal there. You got like the Denver steak.
Yeah.
And the other steak, I forget. But that is a hack. If you want to go a little bit cheaper on steak night, you don't feel like paying up for the ribeye, go find a good chuck with a good fat in the middle where you can pull it apart and you're close. You're in the ballpark and you're going to save a good bit.
Yeah. I think that's one of the most surprising things when it came to this. When I sliced it up and started cooking, man, it was just as tender and flavorful as a friggin' ribeye. So, and you talked earlier about the chili tortillas, the green and the red. Those were 2 of my favorites when it comes to flavor. There's a lot of flavor in those tortillas. You don't have to just go with the regular flour tortilla, but yeah, I'm glad that you liked this recipe. I hope other people did too. So
one more time for the screenshot, man, in case y'all didn't get it. Get that screenshot. My boy Rock put his heart and soul in these things, man. So we glad we could bring him up on the platform, brother. So shout out to Chef Rock in the building, man. Bruce, shout out to Aldi's because Mom's gave me a $40 gift card. I still ain't used it yet. So, Moms, I'm going to Aldi's, get them green tortillas. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to check it out.
$40
Aldi's
at
got
Aldi, you
some
can get a
deals.
lot.
Yeah, that can get you a cart full almost if you're really like choosy.
There we go.
They got
so
the best snacks. I
appreciate
love
Moms for the $40. So we back into it, baby. We are back. We back. Talking football. Our stomachs is full now. It's time to get a beer and Modelo and watch some football, man. So we're gonna find out the best fits for these free agents. And I put a couple up here. Some of these guys, some can fit anywhere, man, with the right scheme. But my number one guy I want to speak on, Justin Fields, man. Justin Fields, to me, that's my guy, my dog. I'm a ride or die with him no matter what. I just feel like he still hasn't had that coach, man. Some guys, like a Bryce Young, like, these younger guys who haven't had the right systems around him. I mean, look at Baker Mayfield. We all thought Baker, when he went to Carolina, he was done, man. I remember people thought Kyle Trask behind him in Tampa when it first started. Like, man, who should we get? Kyle Trask or should we get Baker Mayfield? Like, that was crazy to even think that we was having that conversation. But I think once Baker kind of solidified that, I always say this, Bruce, this is my number one saying, a happy Baker is a good Baker. And I think when Baker is happy, you could see it, right? When he was in Cleveland, bro, he was stressed out. When he went to Carolina, he was stressed out. He had one game in LA with the Rams, and he looked like a whole new guy. He looked like the college guy. Went to Tampa. They showed him a new offense. He had his weapons around him, and he looked like a player that when he wants to play, he looks good. So I say all that to say Justin Fields hasn't had his I want to be this guy moment. And I think a guy like Sean McVay, one of those two, those guys that go in the back of the shed and get them tools out that you never knew you could use, man. I would love to see Fields with one of those guys. I doubt he ends up in LA, but this landing spot off the top of your head with certain teams that need quarterbacks right now, what's the best spot for Justin Fields to kind of re-solidify himself as, not just a running back or some third and one that Arthur Smith wanted him to be, just running the ball like he was a running back. Where should he go, Bruce? And what's the best Justin Fields we can get in 2025 with a landing spot?
I think we got to go to a good place with an offensive line and some weapons. The Jets, media-wise, they've been talking about that. Yeah. I mean, you're going to have Breece Hall. You're going to have Garrett Wilson. You're going to have the Buckeye Connection. You're going to have some pieces there. And maybe that sparks up them actually drafting a Tyler Warren. And maybe that happens. Maybe that sparks that up. But, yeah, offensive line-wise, I remember earlier in the season, preseason with the Steelers, you had the fumbling of the snap. You had the offensive line woes. You go back to training camp with the Steelers. If you don't remember, you can go to my channel and just search Justin Fields in training camp.
Yeah,
it was every day lighting it up with George Pickens every day. Like he looked like getting him comfortable where he's still
confidence, Bruce. I don't mean to cut you off. My bad. This is my guy.
You're all good. You're all good.
I'm gonna mute my mic. Go ahead, Bruce.
You're all good. Talk as you want, but get him comfortable. Get him with an offense. Get him good flow. Like we saw that in training camp. Then we got in season, and we got the preseason. We saw some of those issues with the offensive line a little bit. It was hectic. He's also like a quarterback that needs some seasoning. Yeah, he needs some love and care. So off the rip. Like you gotta put the arm around him a little bit. Like that just makes sense, especially what we saw over the course of time. Like quarterbacks this late in their career turning it around, few and far between. But I would want an offensive line there because I want him to feel comfortable. I definitely want weapons there, but you can say that with every quarterback. But I think with Justin Fields running the ball, you see the arm strength. You saw what we saw in Chicago with the reads and everything and some of those highlight moments that people like to show off on Twitter, which we see, and it's real. It happened. I think we just got to put the kids' gloves on it with him, get him in a good situation, see what happens as a good science experiment with like a Breece Hall, a good wide receiver, good offensive line, and maybe there's other spots, but there's not many quarterback needy spots unless you want him on the cheap, battling it out with JJ McCarthy as a stopgap in the offseason. or something like that.
Do you think the Raiders could do that if they don't get their guy? Let's just say
The Raiders.
I'm saying if the rate, but this my biggest fear with Justin Fields, right? And this is why I said what you said with the kitty gloves. I think he needs to be somewhere where he's not watching over his shoulder every day. And I think even in Pittsburgh, if you look at how they ran their offense, people say that Russ elevated it when he got hot, but I think they were downplaying the offense because Arthur Smith didn't trust Justin Fields to do it. If you look at the play calling, Justin Fields, bro, I watched them run the ball with Cordell Patterson on 3rd and 11. And I'm like, bro, what is going on? Like, this man can throw the ball. And Russ came in, all of a sudden they throwing the ball downfield, they airing it out. I just think they had a kitty glove playbook for Fields, and they never showed him like, hey, we trust you. And I think that's what a lot of quarterbacks, Caleb Williams, right? Caleb Williams, he didn't have a bad year, but team-wise, it was just the moral was down. The overall aura of that locker room was just down. You get a Ben Johnson in there who came out. The reason why I'm here is for Caleb. That let me know from day one, Caleb Williams, his whole thinking process is, I got me a guy that believe in me. Let me shut up and stop talking so much and do what he say. Because that's really all these quarterbacks need, right? You can't be a leader if you know the people around you don't even trust you to lead. So, I'm just a Fields guy, man. I'm a ride or die with him, man. And I really think he need to be with a Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, these type of guys that really put time into their project and build them up from the bottom. He doesn't need just some Joe Blow that just say, hey, man, go out there and do your thing. So that's what, unfortunately, I think he's had so far. Rock, what you think about my boy Fields, man? And say something good, brother.
Well, here's the thing. The best thing I could say about him is that he played for the Ohio State Buckeyes.
There we go. There we go. Okay.
So he's always going to have a special place in my heart.
There, right?
He beat Michigan. He beat Michigan. He had that play where he got that shot on the knee. He had to come out, and then came back, rolled out, and hit that touchdown pass.
Yeah, and he also got his revenge against T-Law, too. That's what,
There we go. Go ahead, Rock.
Can't wait to get back to him. So when it comes to Justin Fields, I think, the crazy thing is about him, he's had, I believe, a different offensive coordinator every year that he's been in the league. That's one of the most highly underrated things that we think about. There's so much turnover in the NFL when it comes to OCs. Man, that is so tough, especially if you have to learn a completely new system, new terminology, new offensive weapons that you're going to have to play with. It takes a lot to be able to just play at a high level in the NFL, let alone all that turnover. So when it comes to Justin Fields, I absolutely agree. I think the Jets and the Raiders, those are the top two teams that I think could use them. I love the Jets because they have an established run game. So the run pass ops, the RPO with what's his name, Breece Hall, I think that would be absolutely awesome. Whenever you have a dynamic running quarterback like him, similar to what you had with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, teams cannot key in on just one of the players and stuff like that. They're going to be going in different directions. I think between the Jets with him, and then also too with the Raiders, I really would be excited for a Chip Kelly run offense by Justin Fields. That faster tempo offense. The only thing is though, is like you're bringing up the highlights when it came to him at camp. Man, it did not take long before Russell Wilson got onto the field. They're like, this is going to be his team. Those highlights to George Pickens, they weren't there on Sundays. When he had when he was the starting quarterback the first 6 games. It was only until Russell Wilson took over that George Pickens was finally unleashed. So I think that's going to be one of the frustrating things with him, is that he's not going to necessarily open up the offense from a passing perspective. He would have to be in an ideal situation like what we saw. His ceiling is what we saw in Chicago with DJ Moore, where DJ Moore was a top 6 wide receiver in fantasy with Justin Fields. So he definitely has the potential, but a lot of things have to be able to go right. And I think having Garrett Wilson, having Brock Bowers, those are going to be the two teams that I hope that he goes to.
Well, I say this, Rock, to kind of add on and finish the conversation on Fields. I just think if he's going to somewhere like LA, it will remind me of Pete Carroll having his Russell Wilson. Like, Pete is such an energizer, bro. I believe if Pete wants you there, he's going to let you know that you his guy. And having a Chip Kelly who just left Ohio State, even though they weren't there at the same time, they still have that on their, on their belt, like, the Ohio State badge on their honor. So I just think it's a real relatable situation. And a guy like Pete Carroll, man, will run down the field while Justin Fields is scrambling. Like, I think a lot of high energy, a lot of high praise for your guy. It's somewhere he need to go. And if he goes somewhere where they draft a rookie, like in the second round, and he watching his back every play, it ain't going to be a good fit. So I would say my fit, I ain't even gave a fit all day, but my fit would be the Raiders if I had to say so myself. And the Jets would definitely be second. These two guys, though, I think you can kind of put in one bucket, I guess, man. Stefon Diggs and Chris Godwin. How close are we with those guys as far as where they are right now? I know I would say Godwin over Diggs because of the little bit of youth, and his injury was nowhere near as bad as Diggs. Diggs with that, I think he had an Achilles, or was it an ACL? So,
well, we might not actually know that we don't really know what the severity is with Chris Godwin. It could be with that ankle injury. It could be something like Michael Thomas, what he suffered, or it's just like if we don't know about all the, because here's the thing: when it comes to injuries, and now it's in the offseason, NFL teams do not need to disclose where NFL players are at. It's only until when the season starts they start giving a lot more details and stuff like that where they are on their timeline. He might have tore all the ligaments in his ankle. That's the tough thing. So it's going to be kind of tough when it comes to Godwin. But yeah, with Stefon Diggs, I have to look up. I'm about to shoot.
Why I say this, with his contract speak for itself as far as Godwin, because if he still got to get signed. So if he tore all his ligaments, you ain't gonna pay him what you would pay him if you know he'll be back right away. So I guess we might have to wait for the contract to speak for what we believe.
Yeah.
But
Diggs tore his ACL. He tore his ACL.
Okay, and hey, he was with Cardi B the other night, man. Diggs looked pretty fine to me. So he's pretty cool. Far as Diggs and Godwin, though, Bruce, what you think is the best landing spot for both of these guys? Kind of similar roles, slot receivers. A little bit of age on them, but I'm a Diggs stan. That's my guy, Maryland guy. Saw him play in Maryland on a game, so I'm always rock with Diggs. What you thinking about these two landing spots for these guys, Bruce?
Washington Commanders come to mind with Terry McLaurin stretching the field, them getting veteran presence there. The short to intermediate just gelling well together with Jaden Daniels. That comes to mind really fast to me. That was like the first thing that came to my head. With them being veterans, older veterans, any place where there's cap room with a young quarterback, maybe the Patriots with Drake May, and that gives them more flexibility with that fourth pick, so they don't feel like they're locked into that, and they can probably still get a young guy with that. Just the short to intermediate. Kayshon Boutte was running 90+% of the routes from like week 8 onward. And that's they'd probably want to get him weapons.
Yeah.
What other teams with young quarterbacks that has room? The Broncos, possibly.
Like that. I mean, what about Houston, right? They could use him back. They could use Diggs and Godwin. They could use either or.
Re-signing Diggs, he was good with them. They gelled well. He was productive.
Yeah.
That's a good spot. That's a very good spot. And wide receiver is a position need for the Texans due to the injuries they got and what they're coming at. I think with the veteran presence, also on top of that, we're looking at this wide receiver class as not being that great. And I think teams are going to really show that hand with these guys. And they're probably going to get signed pretty quick.
Yeah, I think so. What about the Rams with Cooper Kupp leaving, man? We ain't mentioning Rams all day, man. How you feeling about the Rams and one of these guys kind of playing the Cooper Kupp role? Because, Kupp was the slot guy. What do you think about that, Bruce?
What's up with Matthew Stafford and that trade thing? What is up with that, him being able to discuss moving on? Is that real, or is that like, hey, you figure it out and we'll just we'll patch it up here in a few weeks, but you go do you go see what you can, we'll offer you something and maybe you come back type deal? Or is that going to be for real? Because what happens if that happens? Because that's
Bruce, I'm gonna be honest. That was my next question. We gonna that was the next one. That was the next one, man. So Matt Stafford love. So but I mean, let's just say, you go ahead and break it down. As far as Stefon Diggs or Godwin, I mean, how close are they to you as far as what they bring to a team? Because I think bringing them up in the same conversation is kind of easy because I think wherever they go, they can play the similar roles and be the same kind of productive wise, no matter where they go. So I look at them as kind of like here. I just think Godwin is being a little younger is probably the one I would rank higher, but their games aren't too far off to me.
Same thing that ankle reason T-Rock brought up earlier. That is very ambiguous with that. That's in the back of my mind. If I know he's good to go, like if you tell me, hey, he's good to go, he's going to be in training camp, I'll have him a slight edge, a good edge actually, because we got some time, and I think he can play damn near any team that can pay him. He's going to go and be effective. Because you can get the short targets, you can create separation, you can get moved downfield too, you can move them around. You're looking at the assets in the draft. I think he and as his contract and how quick he goes is going to let us know on that. And possibly teams make some weird moves. They make some weird moves. So I don't want to be lockstep into that.
Well, we ain't gonna hold you to it, but your favorite spot for either Diggs and Godwin. If we had to take one, let's just say they come into the season in August or September and they 90% healthy. What's your spot for Diggs and what's your spot for Godwin as far as where we want to draft them at and have a good time with our leagues?
Godwin, maybe the Bills. Godwin, maybe the Bills. Okay. Then I don't have to worry about them spinning up on a wide receiver in the draft and having them pumped up. Maybe. Okay. Or maybe I don't want them to do that so they can draft a wide receiver and everybody flood to that.
Right.
Maybe the Bills. Okay. Diggs needs to stay away from that area because we saw that.
No,
I want
for sure.
Diggs going to actually Diggs and the Texans ultimately, but if we can't do that,
can we get him to the Cowboys?
Godwin in the Commanders. In the Commanders underneath. I think him and Terry McLaurin would be a good pair. And I think Diggs and the Texans would be a good pair.
Can we get Diggs? Can we get the Diggs connection in practice, bro, in Texas and Dallas, man? Can we get that, Bruce?
Is the money going to be good enough for the cap?
I'm just answering the question.
Going to be good enough for the cap. That's what was in my head with these two guys. Is what the money is going to be at. I don't think the money's there, and I also don't think this team is very conservative.
Yeah,
sometimes unless it's like Roy Williams or something like that. But they've gotten very conservative.
Unfortunately, you're right. Rock, Najee Harris, bro. Najee Harris, man.
You don't want to hear what
Diggs and, what? I want to jump. I mean, because I look at Diggs and Godwin, man, so close. I think they can go a plethora of places and be just fine. But I'm gonna give you Najee, bro. I want to know what you're thinking about Najee.
Man, you give me all the shitty players I don't want to talk about.
well, go to Sam Darnold. I give you Sam Darnold then, brother.
I wanted to just talk about real quick with Diggs and with Godwin. I think Diggs is super underrated as far as just like he was top 18 in points per game last year. He was top 24 in targets per route run. But the craziest thing, he was top 18 in first downs per route run. So he is still a reliable wide receiver. Real quick with landing spot, if these two wide receivers do not go back to their respective teams, look at Baltimore. Baltimore loves being able to take players who are skilled and on the back end of their career. And they're looking for a reliable wide receiver outside of Zay Flowers and Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely. I could totally see them getting Lamar Jackson another target to be able to throw to in Baltimore. They always need help at wide receiver. When it comes to Najee Harris, he didn't really turn on the Jets until like the last half of the season. He was so bad at the beginning half of the season. I don't know why. I don't know if it had to do with Justin Fields, because as soon as, for some reason, Russell Wilson came in, he just completely turned everything around when it came to Najee Harris. A lot of people talk about the Raiders because they absolutely need a running back, someone that can do. The nice thing about Najee Harris is not only is he a bruiser, he has enough speed, but his receiving chops are really, really good. So he is a dual threat running back, and he can carry the workload. So I think the Raiders are the ones that make the most sense.
All right. Well, I know you want to give your Ravens some love because that's what you do,
Yeah.
bro. You want to help boost your team up all the time. I get it.
Yeah.
So closing out with this one, Sam Darnold. We don't got to speak on him long. Where is he going? What's the best fit? Bruce, I go with you. Rock, I'm gonna go with you, and we're gonna get up out of here on the next one.
Sounds good.
Best fit for Darnold.
I mean, is there any best fit? I mean, I hate that I had to bring it up, but he is a top free agent, so I just brought it up. But I would say wherever a good coach is, that's where Sam Darnold needs to go. That's what I would say. He needs coaching more than situation to me.
This also brings up the parallel with the Vikings too. I don't see them paying up for that. I think this is his time to strike with a contract. That's what I would do if I was him. I would throw them a low ball offer to see if he just wants to stick around like a needy girlfriend. But we said it a good bit. The Raiders with Brock Bowers, offensive line.
He could be Minshew 2.0, but a better, right? A little better caliber of Gardner Minshew.
I don't think them rekindling the flame with the Jets. That I don't know if he'd like that. I don't know if he'd like that at all. Like, even though it's like different personnel and coaches and everything, I think knowing how I'm like just thinking about how I am as a person, and I'm like, I don't know. I think about like that term.
Well, look, if they're gonna pay him $40 million, I go. Hey, what's up? My bad. You know, no love lost. You know.
I've took some jobs I didn't like for money before, so that makes sense.
For sure. What you think, Rock? I mean, we ain't got to talk long on Sam Darnold, but I mean, I just wanted to ask you anyway.
Cleveland Browns welcome your next quarterback of the future for the next couple of years. I think he fits the bill as someone who's going to get overpaid because the Browns can't stop being the Browns. They're going to give him a 2 to 3 year contract while they just recoup all that insurance money from Deshaun Watson. So I think they definitely want to, especially if they trade away Myles Garrett. They're going to want to get a pass rusher with that second overall pick. So I think it's going to either be Abdul Carter, or maybe they do go with Travis Hunter. I mean, I think those are two of the best players in this whole draft. So I think Sam Darnold, we saw him play at his absolute ceiling for about 90% of the year. Unfortunately, we also saw what we usually see from Sam Darnold in those last two games against the Lions and against the Rams, where he just totally turned into a pumpkin. So, but, you know, during his time in the beginning part of the Minnesota Vikings tenure, he was a top 12 to 6 quarterback in a lot of different metrics. So he definitely needs the best system. And, having Kevin Stefanski there, having worked with O'Connell, coming from the Vikings, I think that their situation, well, actually, that's not true. I think O'Connell came after. He came from the Rams, that he was already there. But regardless, Stefanski, he's a good offensive-minded coach. I think he's going to be able to bring out the best in Sam Darnold. And they already have offensive weapons there. They need a running game. They need an offensive line. They have a good defense there. So I think he makes the most sense there.
All right. Well, free Sam Darnold. Hopefully he finds his way to $40 million. And I was gonna bring up Stafford. Go ahead, Bruce. Go ahead. My fault.
So paralleling this to the UFC, Sam Darnold's like that fighter who's on the last leg of his contract, and you're just trying to pair up a matchup with, and you know that you're going on the greener pastures now. The career's on the last leg, so you're pairing him up with a franchise, but you're going to give him that money fight where he's going to get that contract coming out.
Yeah.
So I don't want to make this comparison. It's kind of weird, but kind of like what they were trying to do with Nate Diaz and Hamzat Shemaev, where they were trying to make an example out of him, but they had to change it because it was so far off, and they had to something like that. That's what I'm kind of drawing that parallel in my head right now. Like we're on the last leg of the Darnold show. He's going to get his money and bounce.
Get his money and bounce. That's why I say if I go back to the Jets, if I'm saying Don, they're gonna pay me. I'm back, baby. I'm back like I never left. I still got my same address. So hopefully, Sam can get paid to stay out of Dallas, man. That's all I ask. So Bruce, man, forget Stafford, forget all that good stuff, bro. Before we get out of here, Combine week, we ain't talk much about that. I just want to get 2 or 3. I'll let you call it some sleeper guys. Give us 1, 2, 3 of your sleeper guys names we should be writing down, people that we aren't hearing about weekly, daily, and let us know what we should be looking into, man. For us as dynasty players and those sneaky late round, third, fourth round guys that nobody knows, and we can go back to this episode and say, man, hold up, Bruce told me about that dude back in February, bro. So give us a couple of them guys, man, before we get out of here. That's going to be at the combine, or that might miss the combine that you just got your eyes on.
All right, off the top of my head. My head just went like a Rolodex.
I'm sure that's why I try to talk long so I can so you can give you thinking while I was rambling. But go ahead, bro.
A young wide receiver. Well, they're all young, they're rookies, but a wide receiver that I don't see him ranked on DLF right here. LeJohntay Wester from Colorado. This is a kid that was like a 0-star prospect, went to FAU. And we had one ramp-up season, and then we had like back-to-back seasons of 700 yards, and then we had our big season of 1,000 yards. So we're later into our career, but we still got to prove ourselves. So then we go to Colorado, and then we take off. We're not right behind, but we're behind Travis Hunter in some receiving stats, good touchdowns. We come out with that, and he's kind of an afterthought even, because everyone's like not liking this wide receiver class. And then we get to the Shrine practices and he's cooking the DBs. He's cooking everybody there. Like, I'm starting to look at Senior Bowl and Shrine week just together now, just starting to do that, especially when you got running backs this deep. They got some running backs in there. And he was the name that came up in practices a lot. And what I like about him, good route runner, very quick, twitched up, and can stretch it downfield a bit, where like you can put him on a lot of teams. And I'm not saying a wide receiver one type-esque dude, but a guy that's like can be a good money ball play on a lot of NFL teams as a twitched up wide receiver. You move up, slot, a little bit on the outside, a little bit of this and that. Very nuanced, technical wide receiver. What I like about him, obviously he's got to have a lot of grit to him, because you went from nothing, just straight from the dirt, from the high school recruiting ranks. You go to FAU. Your second season there, you break out. Lower passing stats, second season, 700. And then you have that counting stat breakout. And then we go follow that up with a second program. So we did well with 2 different collegiate programs on top of that. So there might be a diamond on the rough with that. Another player, and I might go all day, LeQuint Allen from Syracuse.
That's what I said. You give us 3 of them things, Bruce. Go ahead.
That's what she said. That's what she said. But LeQuint Allen from Syracuse, he's not ranked on DOF right here. I kind of like have the names up so I can have names just to process, because I forget people's names very easily. LeQuint Allen from Syracuse, good catching the ball in the backfield, but very sudden, twitched up, finds the hole, runs a little bigger than his size. Could be a guy in later rounds. This is a weird running back class. We might catch some UDFAs here that really hit. Yeah. Kind of like that one draft class where we found like a Keaton Mitchell as a UDFA. That's a running back that might surprise us as we get into camp, as we get later in the season, as we should get more attrition at running backs next year, at the running back position next year compared to last year. Between Halloween and Thanksgiving, damn near hardly any running backs got hurt. Damn near, because really when a running back gets hurt, that's when you make your money as a fantasy football content creator, because the next man up, everybody's searching for him. Like during that time, it was a drought. During that time, so we might see more of that, more attrition up to the mean. We might think that's a lot, because last 2 years it hasn't been. A player like that, there's a lot of other running backs too. Like, I'm not sleeping on anybody. I see them. They're right in my face, but
we sleeping on them, Bruce. We sleeping on them.
Quarterback, staying with Syracuse. Maybe Kyle McCord. Kyle McCord. I don't know what to feel about him. I'm a Ohio State fan, so I feel weird with him. And then I go look at Syracuse. I look at from high school, and I'm like, maybe that's the late round guy. Maybe, but I'm like not all the way in there. But I have a very open mindset to when I look at things, at everything. It takes me forever to buy a computer, or I didn't buy this. This was given.
Do your research.
Yeah. So I look at all possibilities. I can see where that could be a surprise play. I'm not really in love with the player from my Ohio State biases, but when I look at Syracuse, what we saw there, from what I heard from the Shrine week, he was looking good there too.
Okay.
I don't expect him to do much at the NFL. But if you're looking for a dark horse at quarterback in GPD, there you go. But I don't expect much.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, Bruce. I feel bad bringing up these free agents, man, because we could have talked about some of these rookies that we need to be learning from you, man. I mean, I know that's your style, that's your stilo, bro. Like I said, I always watch you to kind of find some guys that I haven't watched or paid attention to yet, and I know you're gonna throw at least 1 or 2 names every time I check you out. So,
Fizz, you brought on a scout. I mean, when it comes to this guy, he knows about these players while they're still in high school.
For sure,
So
that's why.
he's a scout at heart.
Next time, Bruce say, man, forget them old guys. Let's talk about the youngest coming in, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because now I'm thinking like, damn, we could have just skipped them last couple guys. But, you know, for, I guess, the people that we got March coming up, free agency's about to kick off. I guess if you want to hear and find out what's going on, and hopefully I did like some of those landing spots that we brought up for the guys that's out there. But look, man, we almost 2 hours into this thing. Bruce, man, we glad that you came. You stopped by. You showed us some love. And you got anything you want to holler at the people before we get out of here, brother?
Yeah, thank you guys for having me on. This was fun. I enjoyed myself. This was a good time chopping up some ball. I'll be on my YouTube channel all day today, dropping videos all day long. Probably, I think I got a few more to cook up. I think I might do some oddball videos. I'm 600 milligrams deep in caffeine right now, so I don't know what's coming up, but it's gonna be fun.
Is that the thing, Bruce? We a lot of content creators, bro. We just drink energy drink. Because now I'm drinking them. I never drunk them things, man. Now I'm drinking them like every day, 2 times a day, bro. Is that just like the thing? Like we got to get our energy up, or what's up with that, man?
I don't really talk to many people in the industry. I'm like over here like a lone wolf, just talking to my GoPro over here all day long. I will say this about content. It's really hard to spark up like creative ideas in the brain if you're foggy. And also it's hard to churn it out with getting a full amount of sleep. So you're sleep deprived. So those two kind of intermixed. I kind of get it from the weightlifting space too, from pre-workouts and everything else. So I'm pumping 800 to 1,000 milligrams of caffeine a day. That's usually with guys that have
your heart's gonna explode. Probably.
That's usually on par with my fitness content creators. That's usually where they're at. Usually where they're at. Some of the big guys, that's where they're at. Yeah. So
at least you're eating healthy, because if the last time my heart was racing is when I had an energy drink and then ate some Little Caesars pizza. I had to go to the luckily I was in the ER already. So
you ain't gonna be eating no Little Caesars, Rock. That's why, man. You gotta step it up a little bit, brother. But I will say, I told Rock before the show, I said, man, I haven't seen much of Bruce live. I always see his, video content, but I never seen a lot of your live stuff or you on other stuff like live. So I was like, man, it'd be good to get him on here. So we're glad we got you on here, brother.
It's been over a year since I guested on a podcast.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Well. Yeah, I kind of just, the thing is, like, I kind of said this back in like 2020, that I just redid my whole content strategy because I saw the market of how the fantasy game was working. Everybody was on Twitter and they were just trying to build up on Twitter. And then also that was like a space where people were doing things in their content and a lot of their strategy. Not everybody, but you'll see it where they're just trying to get noticed by other people and trying to get built up by other people. And all their focus was towards that. When I restructured it, I said, well, my YouTube channel, that's going to be my Twitter. TikTok, that's going to be my Twitter. And I'm just going to dial in, focus on the content. Focus on the content.
There we go.
Don't rely on opinions or anything. Don't rely on that. And just keep it trucking. And every day, just do a little bit better. Every day. Whether it's the intro, the hook, the hooking in people, the how I deliver things, or whatever it is. Maybe it's just adjusting this camera a little bit. Maybe it's something like that. Editing, like I do all my edits. So that learning how to edit videos and stuff, that took some time. Just every little day, there's something little. And I saw that. And it's also not a good place. Like you want to have everything within, right? Like you want to be within with yourself instead of having to like chase the opinions of other people.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I saw in the space back then. So you want to have confidence.
Yes, sir.
You want to, from the heart, everything true to your word. You want to be authentic in content space everywhere. Like Sam Solik in the fitness space, how he blew up, authenticity. That is what's really been moving. And I saw that in the space. There was really no authenticity. There was some, but not much. And I just, like, if you go to my Twitter, you look at shit posting. It's just shit posting, me having fun, doing funny things, really.
Yep.
There's no actionable news or anything. I might say something. I might have one take a year. I might have one, but it's been like that for 4 years. And me replying to DMs is hard because it's out of sight, out of mind. Like, that's like the back pocket.
Well, you reply right away to me, brother.
I got excited when I saw you guys.
Yeah.
I got excited.
The good thing was, like this around this time of the year, I told Rock, I just started this show because we got a new channel. We were on our regular South Harmon channel, but the South Harmon Vibes channel is it's not the, I guess, dynasty aspect channel, because the other one is strictly, we're gonna just go strictly dynasty on that. This one is kind of a variety channel. We kind of talk about what's going on in all the sports, but mostly right now, while we got the combine, we got the free agency coming up, and we kind of bringing in guests because I figure now is the time to do it because the season isn't going on, right? During the season, I'm pretty sure I'm not even going to bother people. If they're available, they are. If not, it's cool. But I thought this is around a good time to kind of, bring guests on, introduce ourselves to them, let them introduce themselves to us. And we're growing this new channel from the ground up. And I just feel like, man, like you just said, authenticity, being yourself. The one thing I will say that I always say, people most times are reading the same message, right? We all are watching the same content. We got the same numbers, but am I joining your show to watch you or listen to a whole bunch of numbers? So I want you to be here for me. I want you to be here because Bruce was here. And not for anything else, man, my boy Rock is going to definitely cook up and make you feel good about joining us. So Rock always does a lot of research, and I try to remind him. I say, Rock, no matter how much research you give me, brother, I just want you to be you. And that's it. That's how we go. That's how we going to bring it every week, Rock. So, Rock, how you feeling before we get out of here? We're going to let Bruce close us out. Yeah. And we're going to let the people go, bro.
Well, the thing that I really appreciate about you, Bruce, just from the last couple of minutes with you talking, I can definitely tell that you are somebody who thinks about his craft and thinks about his game all the time. And is very self-aware of everything that's going on in the space. But when I started watching your videos, I can immediately tell, because one of my biggest weaknesses, just like what Fizz was alluding to earlier, it's my energy level, it's my passion, it's stuff like that. I'm usually most alive when I got food and I got booze. So this is an area of that I'm really trying to grow in, and that's one of your biggest strengths. It's just like I remember, like, there was no one else that was out there that was coming out with like 20 or 30 different videos on prospects with both the Shrine Bowl and the Senior Bowl. So it's just like the amount of passion that you are able to put into all of your work, it really does come through. And I really, really do appreciate that. That was something that, like, me working on this draft guide, I don't care about what anyone has to say about this draft class. I'm excited for this draft class. Yeah. Because I've looked into all these players. I love that you bring up LaQuint Allen. He's a top 10 running back for me. He's the best receiving back in this class, and I'm super excited to see what he's going to do on an NFL field. So all the passion that you put into it, it really does come through in your work, and I respect the fact that you would rather be working on your videos than coming to the expo and stuff like that. It's just like that's just your dedication to the game. I really do appreciate that. I hope that you could put that on hold for just a couple of days, though. We hope we do see you at the expo.
I'll be back sometime. I have family down there, so I'm in Canton a lot. I honestly, if you like food, one of my buddies, he's from my hometown. He lives in Canton. You might even heard of him. Derek Malone, Sniping for Dom on TikTok and Instagram, does food reviews all over the state of Ohio, multiple different states. He's a lot bigger than me, and big time food reviews on all the restaurants, especially in the Canton area. That's where he lives. Yeah, if you're looking for restaurants and that's the dude to follow. That's Sniping for Dom, Derek Malone. He's from my hometown, so he's a guy to look at. So, but I'm in Canton a lot. I'll probably make it out there. I'm probably going to give myself another year or two. I just want to feel like you get nervous when you're away from the baby. You don't want to set your baby down and let it roll over and suffocate.
Yeah.
I had a tip for energy. Take your microphone, drop it down, set it away a little bit. Now you're forced to speak up. Like set it right down here. That's what I do.
I should have talked to you before this. I have it this close because I need it this close.
I never have the microphone in the shot. So I always have it down here. I always have a microphone. No, actually in December, from November to December, I didn't. I just decided like my Yeti broke. And I was like, you know what? I'm still good. I can still do it. I don't need a mic. I'll just use my Mac mic. Everything was okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. So I got this. This company sent me this. It's called Toner. It's all right. But it's down here. And that way it's not in the shot, but I have to reflect up. And then I have to come forward to get my voice down. So now I'm using my hands. I'm talking. I'm into the thing. But if it's here, I can be a little bit more chill. I can't yell because it's going to hurt your ears. But I sometimes yell a little bit, or I'll change the reflections and stuff. And that helped me out in the beginning. That definitely. But I also had a lot of experience because a lot of leadership roles. I had a lot of public speaking experience due to that, like 10 hours a day in front of a lot of people. But yeah, that is something I would say as a tip. Like if I had my Yeti, when I had it was back here, back this way. I'd have to come forward, and then when you come forward to the camera, and when you do this, that engages the person, and they hook a little bit longer because you got to really like the attention span is to this much of a person. So if you like, sometimes I see people talking, and they're just like this talking. Which is fine if you're trying to play like you're from ESPN, but it ain't like that anymore. So you see that camera, you got to work the camera like you're a pro wrestler a little bit. You got to change the way you talk, which you're like have like a Vince McMahon voice or something sometimes. And you come up to the camera, you look. Sometimes you're looking off the ways. You're just trying to keep their eyes, trying to guess what you're doing too.
Oh, there we go. Bruce breaking it down, baby. If you left, man, you need to come back. I'm gonna make sure I let you know. But you got 7 minutes of Bruce giving some free game. So
I needed that too. That's awesome. Yeah. I come from a loud ass family, Bruce. So I have two tones. It's either wait, what the hell did you just say? And I have to repeat myself all the damn time, or I'm way too loud. Just because coming from a loud family and stuff like that. I need to be able to find that spot where I could just be like this all the time. But yeah, I really like what you're talking about there. I'm standing now. That's what I've been doing the last two shows. I want to feel like I'm in a crowd of people. We're just talking shop right now.
Yeah.
And I have a lot more energy being able to do that as well. So I appreciate all these. I'm going to try these things out for the next show.
Oh, nice.
There we go. Well, Bruce, man, we appreciate you coming through, man. Metric Scout. Make sure you check out my boy Bruce over there on YouTube. And I don't know if you watched the end of our shows, Bruce, but we always got to leave off with the guests. Give me a one time before we get out of here, Bruce.
That's all I gotta say.
That's it. South Harmon Vibes Channel. We out of this thing. Love y'all. Next Tuesday.
See you guys.